Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wargaming.net 2017 fall season. I'm James Rockstar Grieve, joined alongside by Randall Ruko Holcomb. Today is match day 4, one that starts off with what I think should be a pretty interesting match.
Oh, yes, it should. This Teal Team 6 versus F7. For me, it's up in the air. I know you've got an opinion, but we'll have to get back to that a little bit later because we have a few other things to cover before we get into the first match of today.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start off with social media, guys. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at WGLNA and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/WGLNA for the Facebook Live pre-show, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Get all the fantasy advice, league questions, anything else you guys want to know asked on there. We're more than happy to answer your questions.
Yep, and don't forget, go to fantasytanks.com so you can compete for prizes. A Type 59 every single day, plenty of gold and other prizes as well for those of you guys daily, and of course, some overall prizing as well.
Yep. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at today's standings to see just where we sit going into the matches.
All right, so starting off, you can see Elevate and Dare share first place for now. Soon that will be there will be a gap and it will widen. We're expecting Elevate to break away. Eclipse, oddly enough, is in third place for now. F7, Aquatic, Top Tier, and Teal Team 6 will make up that middle section with 3 points apiece. And then 07, we'll see if today they can pick up any points at all. So far, they're sitting with a nice goose egg.
Yep, and then that's going to move us on to today's matches. We already talked about the first one, which is going to be Teal Team 6 versus F7, the two newest teams to the WGLNA Gold League. Then we're going to have Top Tier back at full strength, squaring off versus 07. Offline, we'll have Eclipse versus Dare, and Elevate versus Aquatic M60s. We will try to bring you guys some updates for those as the results come in.
Yep. And let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this first match. Teal Team 6 versus F7. Now, Teal Team 6 is a team that is made up of some players that I recognize. I know this. Zombie Food, Bananas are two examples of just players that have been around in the league for a while. But there's some people I know that you like to focus on as well.
Yeah, well, you have players like Viral, who's a very strategically minded person. However, he tends to get himself into some trouble sometimes, so someone to keep an eye on. And then Supernova, very individually talented, also a little bit young, can be a little bit of a loose cannon, get himself also into trouble. So, you know, these are players that if they can harness their ability well, they can be a great team. But they're, may have to be an uphill fight to make that happen sometimes.
They've still got to knock a little bit off the edges.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to move us on to F7, formerly known as Danger Close. They have players like Spirit Walker, who's their top fantasy point scorer on the season so far, Knight, formerly from Rival, and Dare Rising. And then moving on, you have Vale subbing in for Ali the Persian Dude, who's not going to be here for the rest of the week. And then their caller, Get Clicked On. So far through the season, it seems like they've had a decent idea what they wanted to do, but some little weaknesses in different parts of the strats that I think they need to polish up on his end.
Yeah, much like Teal Team 6, I think F7 is in very much the same boat about trying to figure themselves out, create their identity, get into a comfort zone.
Yep.
And, well, it's just a tricky thing to do for teams like this that haven't had the same level of experience as perhaps Elevate or Eclipse.
Yep.
And give them a little time.
Yeah, give it a little time, and also they have to kind of deepen their map pool and kind of get comfortable on some of the different maps. So let's go ahead and take a look to see what they're going to be playing tonight. First bands are going to be Ghost Town and Prokhorovka.
Interesting. Okay, Ghost Town's a solid map that's out of there. Proc as well. Like to see.
Mine's first pick for Teal Team 6, F7 choosing to defend, and then Himmelsdorf, Teal Team 6 on defense. Mine's was actually the decider map between these two teams in the Silver League Finals that ended up sending F7 here to the Gold League. So
and
a little bit of history there.
Was that a one-sided or was it a 1-1 result?
That was the OT map is what decided that. It was a 4-4 scoreline, and that was the overtime map that decided it. Cliff, one of F7's stronger maps so far, is getting banned out by Teal Team 6.
So strong ban.
Strong ban, and then Muravanka map that I don't think either of these teams are particularly fond of.
Yeah, and then Sand River and Ruinberg to finish things off. So two city maps, and mine Sand River as well on the tiebreaker if we make it that far. So altogether, we've gotten rid of some maps. We've just seen bands that are well informed.
Yep.
And then some strong picks that'll give variety.
Yep.
Himmelsdorf tends to be a little 1-1, but we'll see what happens there. Same with Cliff.
Same with Mines these days. It's turned into a very defensively sided map.
Oh, yeah. And if you happen to be able to break the Mines defense to start off the series, it's a great place to get a lead.
Yep. So now that we know the maps, let's go ahead and take a look at our predictions for today. I still think I have to hold true to this 5-2. Now, the only reason I may waver on that a little bit is just because those first couple maps are 1-to-1 maps. But I think especially once we get to Sand River, I think that's a place where F7 can kind of pull apart. The only time we've seen Teal Team 6 on Sand River was versus Elevate. And there's definitely some major flaws in those strats.
I ended up going with 3-5 in favor of F7. I think a little bit because you're also favoring F7. I guess if you'd asked me before I saw your prediction, I might have given a tiebreaker or just a 4-4 with one of them's going to win.
I think it will be close, but I think one map in the middle there will decide it, and I think it, because that just depends who gets to the next map. That map once they're on 4 points. If that next map is say defense for F7, then it's pretty much over at that point.
I just think at minimum it's going to be at least 3 points on the losing side, at minimum.
Fair enough. I can respect that. Now, also looking at it, Teal Team 6, the last time these two teams played in a competitive match, we just talked about a minute ago, was in the Silver League Finals. It was 5-4 in favor of then DC, now F7. So they have a little bit of history. Now, F7 have definitely come out on top the last couple times, but do you think Teal Team 6 has it in them tonight to possibly pull an upset?
That's what I think, yeah. I think that it's entirely possible. They seem confident. They seem...
that's one thing. They definitely seem confident.
And that gets you pretty far. We've seen teams that otherwise would kind of scare you get away with quite a lot just because of enough confidence. It'll get you far.
Well, let's see how confident they're doing today because they're going to join us on our face-off. Should be Greg and Zone joining us. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, welcome.
All right, guys. So we've already been we've mentioned it a couple times. Last time you guys played, it was a 5-4 scoreline in favor of F7 back in the Silver League Finals. I want to ask both of you guys. 5-3? I thought that was an overtime match. 5-3 regulation? Okay, I stand corrected. What's going to be different this time? We'll start with you, Zoned. What's going to be different? Better in your favor? Worse in your favor?
I don't know. I'm hoping for a win. I think we're going to pull out a win. But I mean, Teal Team 6 is much improved from they were before. We're much improved. I wouldn't put it past them to get some rounds of us. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. These guys are a good team. We played against them, so I'm feeling good.
All right. And Greg, I guess people are kind of voting against you guys right now. What do you have to say to that?
People can vote for whoever they want. We're going to go in. We're going to do our best. We're going to come out with the score we get. That's how it's gonna be. No memes tonight. I'm all business.
Okay. So, but I still want to hear your answer. What do you think is going to be different this time? Do you think you guys can pull a win over F7?
I think that we can pull a win. We've been working pretty hard. We've been putting the time in. We've got some strong players, some strong callers, some strong strats. We're gonna do our best, and hopefully that'll be good enough.
All right, guys. Well, we're ready to get into the action where we keep this nice and short and sweet and straight to the point. So, Zone, any final thoughts for Teal Team 6 and Greg?
No matter what happens, good luck, guys. You guys are the team we came through silver with. So, I mean, good luck to both you guys. Have fun.
All right, Greg. Any final thoughts for Zone and F7?
Good luck and have a good night, man.
All right, we'll see you guys in the battlefield in just a minute.
GLHF, guys. All right. So, with that one,
a lot of respect between both these teams.
Well, the thing is they know each other. You and I both were involved a little bit in the Silver League last season, so we got to see them play quite a bit and got to interact with both of these teams. I think after hearing what both had to say, it was about expected. Maybe a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm used to Greg being a little bit more energetic, but
I think Greg's kind of feeling the pressure a little bit just in terms of they know they need a result tonight. This is going to be one of their teams that's going to be in that middle area of the table, and to get themselves off the bottom end to really catapult themselves into like a playoff position, they need to pick up some points tonight versus F7.
Yeah, and this is one of those matches that when we get to the end of the season, you'll sit there and go, oh, if only we'd won earlier, we'd have been fine.
Yeah, I know F7 definitely had that sentiment, or not F7, 07 definitely had that sentiment last season.
You're right.
They were really close at the end, but just ended up with a bad seed. So, some of these teams, looking at it, it's such a close match, but for some reason, I feel like F7 just have played a little bit stronger so far this season in their first couple of matches.
I don't disagree with that. I think that I agree there. There's just something about when I've watched both teams that that doesn't give away some special aspect about their gameplay, their strategies, their players individually that says one of them is absolutely going to win over the other. You know what I mean? Because that's what I look for. When you see Elevate, you see these very, very crisp moves a lot of the time, and you can notice the it's almost like a tell.
Right.
You know, it's like you can tell when someone's a professional, and you can tell when someone's trying to figure it out. Like when someone's pretty good at the game, but maybe they don't have a perfect understanding of how to navigate a situation.
They're still trying to make that jump to the next level.
Exactly, and you can kind of see it. It's very, very subtle, and I think it has a lot to do with just being able to play at a high level in those competitive matches time and time again.
Now, the one map that did stick out to me in the map pool was Sand River. We talked about it. Now, Teal Team 6 in the first match day, they had a couple rounds on it, and their strats were pretty easily picked apart by Elevate. Now, to be fair, Elevate pick apart pretty much everyone's strats, so it's kind of hard to read into that a whole lot. However, F7 have played it twice, and they've looked pretty strong on it outside of that one game on the last match day where they already got picked off early on.
Yes. But
just looking at that, if they can...
I see where you're going. The thing is, it's still Sand River, right? It's so early in the season. People are developing the meta. We heard Comps mention that the other day. So yeah, we've seen one team perform poorly on that map, and we've seen one perform well. But that's only a very small number of results, right?
Right. Well, everything to this point in the season, all the maps, there are a couple teams that have 100% records on them, but that's with, 4 rounds played on the map on the season. So you can't really read a whole lot into it at this point. Now, as we get ready for the first map, it is going to be Mine. So we are going to have the map pick or tank picks come in right now live. There's about 20 seconds left for them to ready up what they want. Do you notice anything that just sticks out to you as odd on this?
Well, first of all, I think we should mention the pattern being chosen by Teal Team 6. I don't think it's a bad choice, but we probably need to go over that one. I don't think I've seen a pattern in the past few days on this map, unless I'm mistaken. Combining that with the TVP is the other thing.
We've seen it used a couple of times more on Sand River. It has really good view range. The gun has a very high shell velocity. The turret armor did recently get buffed, so it's a little bit more viable on some of these maps with some hills. However, seeing it on Mines kind of begs some questions. Maybe in the same spot where we saw Spirit Walker play the E5 the other day up on the hill, let it use the gun depression and turret armor.
I'll be sure to show everyone out there watching if we see that position. But that's what I was also thinking at first. Was probably somewhere on the high ground where spotting is important.
Yep, and then the double E4 and Type 5 setup coming out of F7, nothing too surprising there. The PZ7 once again making an appearance. So far, we've pretty much only seen the PZ7 on this map, so it seems to be one of those tanks that just fits into that position just perfectly, and that's pretty much the only reason they want to seem to bring it. We are going to start off with Zoned in the bush right there. He will spot a one-line cross, however, he hasn't quite figured out that is not going to come. They are taking the hill in force. All 7 of their tanks right now for Teal Team 6 are rolling straight towards it.
Yep, there we go. Spotted, Supernova, Bananas, and Bloop on their way up. Chase Potato is just right there in the middle, holding a strong position. This is good. But look at this. Teal Team's gonna... Are they going to approach, still going up to the hill?
Yeah, they're actually sending Viral around over towards that 9 line. So definitely keep an eye on him. I expect what we'll see him do is he'll get over towards that 0 pocket at D0 and start to try to back off maybe that Type 5. And if he can do that, then maybe they can get a tank up on the 0 line boost.
Maybe so. But look at, there are tanks actually covering that approach, kind of watching that direction. You've got Knight out on the east side of the map, get clicked behind him, while there's still Teal Team 6 and F7 kind of playing with each other in the middle of the map. Not quite engaging, and actually Viral is going to be spotted. And actually, real quick, James, I believe we may have disconnected.
Is that disconnect on us, or is that disconnect on the match itself? Was it?
Yeah.
We'll find out for you guys in just a second.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, we may be just about getting a disconnect call, and we're going to head back to the desk for a moment. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Rock's going to have to back out back to garage there.
Looks like that was a disconnect call to start the night, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Hey, they happen from time to time. Usually there's a test battle run before the battle that you get to see on camera, and that's to make sure that the modifications and all of that we've added to the game in order to make our UI, our beautiful UI work, making sure that they're in order. And occasionally, sometimes, people will have a little bit of trouble if they've just installed. And so we run through a battle just to make sure things are good. Otherwise, I guess someone might have had some internet issues or whatever. Normally what happens is within the first 30 seconds of a battle, or until tanks are spotted or damage is dealt, you can call a disconnect, meaning if one of your players were to just simply drop out of the battle accidentally, or rather like their internet goes down something, or a hurricane shows up, things like that, any given day, your team can call a disconnect, which is just, okay, this one little thing happened, we'll back out of the battle, we'll restart this up, and we'll just go again.
However, the second a tank is spotted,
can't do that.
And it's a disconnect. So apparently, I just did check. The disconnect was called before anything had actually happened. It just took a second to get relayed to the players and the observers.
Yeah, it's the trickiest kind of thing. Like the problem with a disconnect is it has to be called, verified, communicated to the players, and then all of that has to go back up through a rung to us. So there's sometimes a little bit of a lag in there. So if you just see that happen, it's just the way things are. They have to try and get the next battle going very, very quickly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it looks like they are ready to put us back into battle any second now. So we'll be back underway.
Yeah, same
now,
tanks.
By
the way.
They cannot change tanks. They have to keep with the same lineup they went in there for. Well, we're waiting for this to start. The lineups that they brought.
Yeah, you want to get back onto that patent?
So the patent is kind of interesting for me just in terms of it fits into that same kind of category that the E5 does. It's a jack of all trades, master of none. It's not the most mobile of the mediums. Its guns, DPM is decent. It is the one thing I will give it is it has a very high shell velocity, so shooting at range is easy.
I was about to say that. I was about to be like, the shell velocity is a huge factor because firing at range, it does matter. And your drop-off on those shells is way more forgiving than perhaps on a bat chat.
Yeah, but the other thing to keep an eye on, though, is it's going to be on mines. Mines is not a map that shoots where you have to shoot at great distances.
The only thing I can think of is maybe from that center hill position to the west side, on southwest, maybe.
Maybe it's more of a spotting thing on the one line?
It's got to be a spotting thing because
it has the 410 spotting range base, which is the only tanks that have higher than that are the new light tanks. But when you bring a light tank, you sacrifice a gun. So maybe this is the compromise to bringing a tank that has a gun and the DPM to keep up in a fight if it needs to, but also has that view range.
Very often the choice to bring a scout tank on a map like Mines versus perhaps a medium, usually the reason people choose one or the other is because, okay, does a light tank actually serve a purpose that a medium tank cannot? For example, look at bat chats. They're used all the time in place of a scout. They're a medium tank and they don't get those same camo advantages.
Right.
But they're still used because they're just nimble enough. They have way more firepower and hit points. And, well, if you consider armor a factor, they get gas, but it's still a bat chat. And I guess that's what you end up deciding is like, okay, bring the M48 because we don't need a highly mobile light tank zipping around the battlefield that's going to get deleted the second it runs into those E4s.
Right.
When you know those E4s and the Type 5 even are there, actually almost every tank on the side of F7, just because that's there, you know a light tank really isn't going to be that potent. You need to go with a medium.
Well, and even the bat shot can just clip it out, 2 or 3 shots and the light tank's going to go down typically. Depending on the stage of the battle and if it's taken damage already. Now, looking at this setup, it appears F7 are running what we consider pretty much, vanilla or very standard defense at this point. Do you think F7 have it in them to break this defense?
Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see. As Supernova does look like he just made his way up onto the top of the hill, so slightly different series of events this time. Chase Potato still at the middle. Bananas and Emus still find him. But in this case, we've got a medium tank that's made it to the hill and 2 heavies that have had the experience of, well, seeing Chase there. And we've got Viral already heading east. It's important to note. Zoned is also in the bush that we saw him before, passive AFK. Well, not AFK, but passive. He's looking towards the west to spot Cap, make sure no one's crossing, and
the bigger one there is just the one line cross at G1, just make sure they don't get any tanks down into the south and they know about it ahead of time. You'll see this happen so often. You can't play the hill entrance, especially where Chase Potato is now, if the other team has control of the one line. There's just too many angles onto that position at F5. So you have to know at the very least if they've taken the 1 line, so you know to back off and not take unnecessary damage or even lose a tank, as an HE shell comes out there into the gun mantlet of Chase Potato.
9 damage is 9 damage. Take what you can get.
Death by paper cuts is still death by paper cuts.
Exactly. And we'll just see this kind of stalemate for a little while, I expect. Well, I guess what is the rest of Teal Team 6 going to go for? Is the big question. Are they going to push her out on the west side? Are they going to actually look at that mouse moving actually?
Yeah, we have Viral still over at that D0 pocket, the same one he was going to last time. Maybe try to make that Type 5 back off from shooting the boost. But we're also going to see the mouse start flexing over towards the 8 line now, maybe hug the inside of that mountain. However, what he's going to find out very quickly is that there's 2 E4s sitting in the base of F7, and those E4s will deal with that mouse armor very, very easily.
Very easily. So, as that mouse gets into position, he is currently in Delta 7. You're going to see 2 tanks, Bananas in the wall host, and Zombie Food are going to be moving out to the west side, it looks like. Zombie's actually in a defensive position, kind of just watching the West Islands right now. And from here he's, oh, there he is, covering Bananas. Bananas is spotted. That's probably by Halo, as this will kind of either be a feint to F7 to see if they react, or if this will just be kind of 2 flanks. As we can see right now on the west side of the map, we've got a number of tanks stacked up. The Love Hitman, Bloop.
Yeah, so they're sitting here, and maybe they'll try to use the pattern to spot down the 8 line, spot that E4 ahead of time, make them back off, but I think there's just better choices than the pattern. However, with its current state after the buff, its turret armor is nothing to be scoffed at. Bounces way more shells than it should, in my opinion. But
Supernova's getting off the hill, by the way. He's going to be
in the background, but so far it doesn't look like they're leaving anyone on the hill to spot anything, which I prefer personally to see 1 tank up there just to hold the different off angles in this base and try to, you know, they can punish them. We've seen TVPs, for example, in the first match day really pump out some damage when the push happens, because the turrets have to turn to deal with the push, and they often leave their side exposed to the hill. So pulling all the tanks off the hill to put it into the push, in my opinion, could be a little bit risky.
Yeah, but look at this. Teal Team 6 is planning something, because the way they've got Emus and Supernova kind of hidden, it looks like they're getting ready to do kind of a late jump, something down the 4 line. If they're discovered, that kind of ruins the play for them, but it looks like Teal Team 6 is able to keep that under wraps. And this is the move. Here we go. Love Hitman moves forward, Bloop right behind him. They have Knight spotted. They know they can probably get an opening shell. Knight exposes himself, takes a hit. Bloop looks for the shot, not finding anything.
Vale on the E4 is turning around. He should find a shot rather quickly onto the Love Hitman, as the mouse is just going to hold down that W key and keep pushing around that corner, as the tanks are going to try to back off a little
spotted. Bit. Vale is spotted. Shot goes out. Ooh, and nice shot. Vale goes for Bloop instead of the mouse. Trying to get the M48 out a little quicker, but 309 back into Vale. As this aggression continues, we're going to actually see probably a fight starting up in the middle of the map.
They're actually going to take the overmatch into the hill. Supernova looks like he's going to be the first one that's going to get caught out, as Knight's just going to pull forward. HE shell going into Supernova.
Nice focus. They just need to get 1 more in Super. There we go. That's perfect. F7 needs to keep going forward, take on Emus so that they're not surrounded, and that will work. Emus drops down. That's perfect. Now F7 can turn it around, focus on Viral and the Love Hitman, take this one apart.
And this is going to leave Teal Team 6 in a very awkward situation, because look at this crossfire between the E4s, the PZ7, and now the tanks on the hill, which F7 so easily took from them, is going to be able to really chew through these big, heavy, slow tanks like the mouse from Teal Team 6.
Yep, Bananas in the wall host out in the west side of the map has gotten into position, but I feel like that's way too late right now, and he's almost irrelevant. Everyone from F7 is ignoring that target, recognizing he's out of position, unable to support. Emus comes down from the low ground. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to support well enough, as the Love Hitman and Zombie Food should be getting taken apart momentarily. There we go. Halo gets the kill, leaving Zombie Food completely stranded. Zombie does get Spirit Walker. Nicely played there from him. He's got the damage.
Now he's going to back up, and the PZ7's already waiting for him, as is the other E4. And the E4 of Vale is going to put a nice big shot into Zombie before he ends up taking him down, but then Halo is going to come around and get the kill shot onto Zombie.
we go. Emus. Out in the open, takes one more for 5:24. And this is going to be over fairly shortly. Just a few more shells and that'll do it.
I like what I saw there out of F7. They recognized the push coming out of the 8 line. They figured out where they could create an overmatch. A little bit risky, but they got the Batchat, the 113, the Type 5, and one other tank, which I didn't see who it was, Chase Potato in the 5A. They got all 4 of those tanks over onto the hill entrance where there was only a couple tanks for Teal Team 6, and once Supernova went down, the 5A just had no choice but to back off into the water. And once they had given up the high ground, the hill, that push over on the 8-9 line was extremely vulnerable, and you saw how quickly it fell.
Yeah. F7 also, they just handled themselves fairly well. You saw the response in the middle was perfect. Decided to push forward, and once they got emus to drop out and go to a low ground, they just turned around and focused on the tanks left behind.
I would say their push on the hill was sufficient. It was still a little bit slow for my liking. Took a second to kind of figure out what was going on.
Fair enough there.
And it was compiled with the fact that Teal Team 6 brought a Mouse. You know, Mouse isn't exactly the fastest tank. It's kind of easy to run away from. However, it was sufficient enough to get them the win. Now, something that I was going to talk about in game before that push happened was, once again, passive defenses. And I am not a big, like, it's no secret that I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, but Mines of all maps, right? Of all maps with a passive defense that is proven. And the thing that makes it effective is being able to react. What we saw from F7 was what you're supposed to do with that quote-unquote passive defense, is you see a weakness or a counterplay because your opponent's going to have to come down any of a number of 3 very dangerous routes to get to you. You've got enough time to see what's going on, assess the situation, and react.
Yeah, but where I'm going with this is you are giving yourself essentially a fixed time to react, and you're waiting for your opponent to make the play. You're not doing anything proactive. You're not going out and getting those lights. So kind of looking at that, it's just something to keep in mind in the back of your head as we move on to as these teams switch sides. Now, we do have the damage numbers from the last game. Vale and then E4, 4,300, 100 fantasy points. Chase Potato putting up another 70. Zombie Food, top player for Teal Team 6. And then it drops off pretty consistently after there. Get clicked on, only getting 1,500 in that Type 5.
There we go. Across the board. Yeah, Bloop and the Patton didn't really get to do much.
Well, and he was also, I never really saw what we were talking about. I never really saw what that tank was meant for, past just being there. It was behind the Mouse, so it kind of was pushing to the brawl late. It didn't really spot the E4s or do anything useful over there. I just kind of felt like there could have been a stronger tank put into that role.
There absolutely could have. I agree. The Patton in no way was utilized to any of its strengths. It didn't get an opportunity to.
You know, it's just like the PZ7. If there is a role that you know that the tank can play and play it very well, it's like designed for it, then bring it, use it. But like the way this Patton was brought, it just nothing ever materialized. So maybe it was something that they wanted to do, but they didn't this game. They changed up their game plans, and there was never anything where it really shined, I guess.
Yeah,
the biggest thing.
That's probably what happened. I always just sit there and go, oh, it was probably just they wanted to put the Patton on the hill, but when they discovered a tank in the middle blocking, they realized the Patton's not fast enough to get up there. So why do that still and waste the hit points and whatnot?
Yep. Now we're going to go on to battle number 2. Teams will switch sides. It is F7 having to attack now. 2 mice, 5A, 3 Batchats, and a Panzerwagen themselves over on Teal Team 6. Nice 7, 2 5As, 2 Batchats, and E4, and their own Rheinmetall Panzerwagen played by Viral.
I guess, is this Mountain Goat time?
That would be my guess. That's the only reason why you'd bring the PZ7 on this map is to do those climbs. It has the gun depression to where it can get up on those climbs when it needs to. And we're actually going to see Viral go for one right out of the start here. So he's going to get up here, and it looks like he's going to get to the rocks and get safe.
First.
Back up.
And almost making it through the second one. And opening run from Knight is looking to try and
But he's spotted now. Now if the guns are in position to get shots off, he takes one shot as he dives into the rock, and now he's kind of stuck in an awkward place, and I don't think he'll be able to leave anytime soon.
He may not. That's the tricky thing about this, is Knight was able to get the spotting, but now we're waiting to see if Halo or perhaps Spirit Walker or someone like that is able to keep him pinned down. And Viral will be pinned there for a bit, but in the meantime, oh, look at this. Look at Supernova, and look at, let's see, Supernova.
We saw this out of Elevate the other day, getting aggressive on the one line early on.
This is a nice position. From here, if he can get himself to the northwest, he can really mess with the positions of F7. If he does that, if he does it too soon, I'm expecting he'll go down in some kind of a trade.
Yeah, we're actually going to have the Mouses pushing out and around on the 8 line now, but instead of bringing a Mouse and a Patton like Teal Team 6 did last game, they're bringing double Mice, so bringing, 6,000 HP and a ton of armor to really work that 8 line.
And look at this. At the same time right now, Supernova is going to be getting into position in a bush, going passive. And from here, you can actually watch any action that F7 brings to the west side of the map. And because of that process of elimination, Teal Team 6 might understand that the push should be coming on the east side of the map. And you can see tanks shifting to accommodate that already. Zombie Food will need to get out of that southwest position, move east, and we'll see how that stacks up.
Yeah, these tanks are getting in position here. Knight is the only tank on the hill for F7 just to proxlite
Chase Potato spotted.
all those tanks.
Chase gets spotted, crossing. That's huge. That's a huge tell right now. That'll give Teal Team 6 the time to do anything about adjusting their defenses. I hope Emus moves over into perhaps Juliet's 7. And Zombie, I hope he moves back west, or back east. Without that, Brox.
I don't quite think that F7 are completely convinced this is where the push is going to come up from, because Supernova is still, Teal Team 6, they're still sitting over there in F2, and Supernova sitting in a passive bush right now. And there's a little bush in the middle of that riverbed that can spot the north, so maybe looking for a late rotate towards the 1 line?
Yeah, well, Teal Team 6, I don't know, man. It seems obvious from the information that Teal Team 6 has. It's a pretty strong tell. They may not depend on it entirely, right? But they have a good idea of where the opponent is right now, where they're looking to pressure. They know there's something going on east side, or at least hillside. And there's not enough spotting happening on the hill itself to say that there's pressure coming from the middle. And almost no team would actually risk pushing right down the middle of the map. So generally you can leave it almost entirely open. Just cover it lightly and you're fine.
Yeah, and Viral actually does leave that 0 line climb. He's going to rotate out.
The position's kind of exposed and not super flexible. Why put a light tank in a locked spot, right?
Exactly. And now Vale's actually going to rotate back towards the hill in the Mouse, to the hill entrance. Maybe an extra gun to punish the cross there. As Viral's going to get all the way out to the 1 line, we may see him push down the 1 line and get out in front of the Bat Chats, where he won't be as boxed in as he was on that 0 line climb.
Makes a lot of sense. With that, you'll be able to rotate Zombie and Nova out, leave the scout in the west, and be able to deal with that push.
Part of it, though, is the timing. If this close from F7 comes out pretty quickly, that could be 3 guns that are going to be out of the fight for, the first 20, 30 seconds of this engagement.
I think Teal Team 6 might be banking on that, banking on the fact that F7 will hesitate, or rather not feel rushed to put some aggression on. And because of that, they can take their time and try and whittle them down.
And Greg takes an HE shell to the turret.
Look at that Vale moving down the middle. Teal Team 6, like we were saying before, it seems like it's a dumb idea or that it's impossible to go right up the middle, but that's what Vale's going to do. And as he's in position, he's going to start putting fire, spotting various other tanks. He's taking a little bit himself, but needs to find a defensible holding spot. And this is the push, F7, moving forward. You've got Halo, Potato, together with Spirit, and then Get Clicked is also pushing up. The response from Zombie Food and Supernova as well. There goes Greg. Nice focus fire. Halo should go down in response on F7's side, but the focus fire is not quite there as much as it is for our blue team. Although, looking at the hit points now, I think that tells a slightly different story. As Vale goes down, Get Clicked goes down. Bananas up top with backup. I mean, this is pretty solid right here. All right, Halo.
Nice shot there from the 5A banana on the wall host to take down Halo.
All right. Zombies on the high ground. F7's been torn apart position-wise. Teal Team 6 has every advantage, and F7 does not look like they've got anything left. I have to give it, F7 went for the play in itself wasn't bad, but everything else was lacking. They needed to provide more misinformation for Teal Team 6, because as we can see, Teal Team 6 was ready for this.
Yeah, they didn't do anything to throw them off to make them, feel that their defense was inadequate. I actually do like the play there from Teal Team 6 to get the Panzerwagen off the 0 line, get him over into the passive bush, and then once he was there, I made the comment about the Batchats being out of there. He was able to flex out and get them back to support this 8-9 line side where they felt that push was going to come from, and they were able to retake the hill very quickly and end up taking down Vale.
There we go. Knight goes down to Viral. As Viral shows up to save the day. Supernova leaves the hill, and Zoned is the last tank alive. He's got one shell. He's looking for a shot onto Viral. He realizes it's time to run away, and his Spidey sense activates. Tells him that it's an I-7 there, but too late. And Viral gets the final kill. Okay, that ties it up 1-1.
Yeah, no, about what you expected out of that. That defense has been pretty hard to crack. Even though I don't like passive defense, it certainly has been working. So you can't exactly knock them for doing it. Yeah. And Teal Team 6, they ran it their own way. They didn't bring the PZ7. They had a few changes to it, but they understood their rotations and they made it work. Especially like I was mentioning, the the Panzerwagen going over towards the 2 line, getting in the passive bush. The Batchats were able to then be freed up and get closer to the fight. So when that push did come out from F7, they were ready for it. They were in position. They got their guns quickly on target, and they knocked down that push rather decisively.
Yeah, and to the point about a passive defense, I think we can actually point out a few things Teal Team 6 did that were somewhat active. Going on this jump, I think, counts as a first active move. It's something actually you're trying to get somewhere, right? You're trying to make something happen with that, and you do have some flexibility. On the west side of the map, Teal Team 6 did actually bring the Batchat up far to actually spot into the northwest after recognizing that there was possibly something to be done. And then they moved things around. So as far as Mines goes on defense, that was about as mobile as you're going to get without doing things that are foolish or even reckless.
Right, and Zombie Food's actually going to be the top damage dealer there in that Batchat. So the 2 Batchats that I didn't like being out of position on the 1 line and getting into the fight quickly, both being effective. 6K between the 2 of them. And then Banana the Wall Host in that 5A did what he could in a short amount of time. The Left Hitman and Emus also doing what they could. Left Hitman did get caught out eventually, though. Viral in that PZ7 was never really a damage dealer in that strat, so you can't knock him for being down there. Then Greg was the first one focused out with that initial push. And you're going to have, when a team pushes, you are going to give up some HP or a tank. It's just making sure that you do the better trade.
Yeah.
And so Greg just was the unfortunate soul that got caught out in the 5A. The upper plate on it is not that strong, so it was the easier choice than going for the I7. And just in the position, just didn't work out for him.
Yeah, that'll happen. So, but when you see that, you know the defending team is actually following focus fire. You pick a target, everyone fires, gets the kill.
Yep.
And that's just good discipline. That's what you'll see at this level. Very rarely are you going to see people deliberately spreading fire.
Yeah, there are a few cases which do call for it.
Like Batchat Swarm?
Yeah, very, very rarely. And this was not one of those cases that called for it. That was just F7 doing what they needed to do. Now we're going to head into battle number 3. Teal Team 6 going with a very, very unconventional lineup. A Mouse, 2 Batchats, 2 E3s, and 2 E4s. 2 Batchats is actually what F7 brought on the last match day, and they're going to bring it again while on offense. A 50B, a Mouse, 3 5As, and 2 Batchats of their own. So it's kind of a very disjointed lineup especially from Teal Team 6 and a little bit for F7. You know, you have some very heavy, slow, passive tanks which aren't going to be able to flex around a lot, and then 2 Batchats, which is the complete opposite. A lack of armor, but the flexibility. And so they have to make all that work on the same page, which is where I wonder if they'll struggle.
That's what I'm thinking about as well. Although my first thought, if I was taking the perspective of F7, and tell me what you think, is when I see this many tank destroyers, I know that there's relatively slow firing and actually very easy to overtake if you're willing to pay the toll. And so what you're going to do is, if I'm thinking about this from the perspective of F7, I'm thinking about how can I get close to one of these tank destroyers and just obliterate it, because that's all I need to do. I'm going to take a hit. There's that many TDs on the table. Just make it so when I take an engagement with them, I'm going to take one shell, get in real close, and get the kill.
There's a couple things you can do to counteract it. You can do one, what you just said, which is try to find one that's isolated that you can quickly get to. But the other thing is, you know, sometimes early on, if you do it just ever so delicately, you can kind of chip away at the defense a little bit. You can soften them up.
There's some spots on the hill. Get kicked on in Vales, looking for shots into Love Hitman.
But my point is if you can get the spots on those tanks and do it ever so carefully, if you can start chipping out damage like this, the Left Hitman took 2 shots right there. If you can slowly do that and give yourself enough of an HP lead when you pay that initial toll that you talked about, when you're going to take that damage, you're then even on HP or slightly ahead instead of being down a deficit where you have to fight back from a negative position.
Precisely. Now, looking at the blue team attacking side, what are we going to see from F7, James? I'm currently trying to focus on the Love Hitman, but I see that you're watching everyone there on F7 as well.
Yeah, they're just chilling out in the south. They're just kind of spreading out, trying to figure out what Teal Team 6 is doing, try to get some intel, and try to find the damage. That's what a lot of these tanks are set up for. Chase Potato can spot across that 7 line there.
Ooh, nice.
Halo is.
See, Spirit just got a spot all the way across onto Bananas. Did not expect that. That's.
And this is exactly what I was talking about that F7 need to do right now. They need to find a way to chip away at these tanks. So what they can do is say they can get another shot or two into the Love Hitman and maybe another one in Banana. That all of a sudden becomes the first tank that you're going to focus out when you make that push, so you can take that gun down that much sooner. Now, there are a couple things the defense can do in this case, which is rotate the tanks out, hide the HP, get them in the backfield, if they can. If they don't and it's exploited, then that's on them. But there are some countermeasures they can take to work against that just by rotating the HP around.
All right, looks like what we're about to get from F7, James, is a push up the middle. What do you think?
I would agree. It looks like they're going to go across the courtyard. They know that they have hill control, or had hill control. However, Zombie Food is in a position where he could very easily take it on that 0 line if they're not careful.
Soon. All right. Although Halo, look at where Halo is right now. He's just waiting all the way in the northwest.
He's trying to spot, maybe see if they rotate anything towards the hill. I don't think they realize that Zombie Food is over in that A0 pocket. So
now they do, because he just got on cap. So. As you said that, I'm sorry. He just decided to get on cap and let everyone know exactly where he is.
Yep. So what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to run a bait and switch here, get them moving towards that 2 cap. Now, as they do it, let's go ahead and listen to their comms and see exactly what they're thinking as they try to make this work.
I'm gonna scream at you.
You can poke out a little bit, okay, and you'll be fine. Like just have like if they like hug red line really hard.
Yeah, just poke on enough to see A5. Fuck.
Oh, he was
Okay.
there.
He was there.
Just leave then.
Yeah, I say we push south right now. Right now, we have the team. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Looks like, what do you want me to do here?
You're coming with second out loader.
So
Halo
what do
should
you
go up the hill. Halo should go down the 8 and up the hill.
Veil, down,
or-
south, dude. Come on, don't go north at all. Spot.
Just be careful, Halo, with that E3. It's still...
Yeah, I know.
Attack
That mouse
that.
is pushing up.
Fuck, we're spotted.
You're fine, Halo.
Okay, I moved.
Get the mouse
send-
on
should we
here.
just-
that's running,
Yeah,
that's
get the mouse onto here in the
Get all the
window.
5As.
Let's go. Cross.
I'm
Spirit, there's a bad
spotted.
spot to be. You gotta be south. We went over there.
Clicked. I have more shots from here. Trust.
They have 2 bats, so I don't know if I can stay hill.
You can't. They're all.
Well,
Or no, you know you can't.
That's
No,
just
you can't.
bailing. He's bailing.
Yeah, they'll just
Shoot
move.
him.
You're right.
Bat chat in the open. Bat chat in the open.
How far are we going, Click?
Track.
I hit him. Is he safe? Yeah, he's safe.
Yeah, he's safe.
I'm clipping.
50 come out. 50 bats come out. We have enough control. Come out.
Yeah, I know, I'm leaving.
Like,
I'm not-
leave?
I'm not even spotted.
Yeah. Leave.
Gotta
We
go
have
back.
mouse chest.
What do you want me to do? What do you want to do, Click? Take hill?
Yeah, let's get the bats over hill and 50 B8 line. Go.
Okay, Halo, I'll be reloaded in
Please
20,
hold.
so we'll have enough time.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Get
can
5
go
minutes.
kill this mouse.
Yep.
That bat's gonna run.
Yep.
Unless those bats come to kill us.
E3, E4
Oh, right
fire.
there.
Mouse is there?
4 shot.
Yeah, E4 fire. Not this one over here, did.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
I think I have shots at him.
So do I.
The mouse, Halo?
will be
Yeah.
with that mouse probably.
You guys can HU the side of the E4 if you can't pan it.
yeah,
Just-
let's do it. Load EG.
You'll do quite a bit of damage to him. Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep my heal loaded. You just...
Halo, your shot's good or bad?
Nah.
There, you're doing
What about their
damage.
bat jets, Halo?
Yeah. I'm
There he is.
I'm
I'm gonna come to you.
Yeah.
Come to me, Halo. For Spirit.
Come
Yeah,
to
go
me,
Spirit.
Halo.
Yeah. Just the one. The other guy's 600 hit points.
Okay.
You gotta come to
Can you go?
How many
Thank, did you
rounds
leave? Thank.
How many
He's
rounds
running
ago?
into you,
You want me
Echo.
to
many rounds?
leave?
Yeah,
Down.
leave. Go push courtyard.
Just literally. Oh, there
Right
he
on the
is.
bat chat.
Halo, let's push. Let's go. Nice ram, Echo.
Veil, if this E3.
I can't push.
If
Where
these
do you go?
Clipping. He's just clipping.
I have the
just
badge.
take
Don't worry
courtyard.
about
Take
it.
courtyard.
Sure.
Right, take
Echo,
across the courtyard.
up eight.
Yeah, I'm going.
I know.
Veil, if this
I have
E3 is
4,
not
Echo.
here, me and you are taking this guy.
I'm going on hill.
This, okay.
Taking
Go,
the
just
shot.
get ready for my call.
Yeah.
Because you.
That's
gotta
just
go
running.
first.
340.
Didn't even light me. Oh, the mouse just fired at me. I'm gonna just take a repair.
E4 fired. Do I want to get to this other house, Click?
No, the other E3 can shoot.
This is gonna be a problem, Echo. We can't cross any farther.
Just go back and go through the hill.
Nova fired 2.
Don't have time.
Noah's down 2.
Can we start getting aggro here?
If we have to, I'll
Not
put
yet.
it
Not,
down.
need more distraction.
You have 3 minutes.
We need the mouse.
Yeah, the mouse says the W up 4 line.
Yep, up 4 line.
Echo, I'm gonna red line. I'm just gonna cross.
Okay.
Chase, maybe you should go take courtyard first. Yeah.
3 minutes on this. We have to do this fast.
Chase is spotted doing this.
They're not even doing it. They're not even
Nothing
watching.
8 line. Nothing 8 line. Mouse on
Oh,
5.
we need to bully that.
Go, go, go. You need to fix them. Go 2 cap. Go 2 cap.
Just
Oh,
kill
there's
that
a
bat
match
now. Just red line and kill the bat. He's 2 shots.
Yeah, Halo, it's free kill.
Fuck, it's not a red line. I can't red line that.
Whoever's on. Do we not have the power on Hill to go kill that match yet?
I went low, remember? I went 8 line. I'm gonna cross.
Halo,
I'm gonna
do you
cross.
have HP to take him
I'll
out?
do it. I'll
No.
do it. I'll do it.
I
I'll
can
do it.
cross.
Creaming
I'll
him
do
out.
it.
I got it, Echo. I will cross. Stop
I'll watch
talking,
the
Echo.
6 line. I'll
Hale,
watch
don't bleed
the
anymore.
6.
Don't bleed anymore. It's tucking.
Yeah, no. I'm just gonna shoot
I'm
them.
getting on cap.
He penny through my
Fuck,
gun.
3 fired. I'll kill the idiot up
I'm
top.
gonna see if the other E3.
Alright, yeah, poke that click.
Halo, you're peeking, right?
Is he there, click?
No.
If not, run along the right side of this house and just go to
If he
B4.
keeps going, I'll take
Echo,
off.
Echo, yeah. Yes, are you going, Spirit?
I thought you were peeking.
I am, but like,
They're pushing. They're pushing.
Yeah.
Guys, you guys cover me. Cover
Go,
me.
go, 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 go.
I'm coming, Echo.
I mean, I'm a one shot.
I'll flip into the E4.
Did they both fire?
Where's the E?
Yeah,
where's
both.
this
One,
looking at?
E3 fired. Love Hitman
Oh,
fired.
Spirit or Echo? Did both fire?
Bale, get the. Shoot humans. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm getting back on cap now.
yeah.
God, he's man. Fucking got me for the trash.
And F7 trying their hardest. A lot of teamwork coming out there, but so far they're down on HP. Guns are back to even right now. Spirit Walker does go down to Banana the Wall House. Knight does trade it out though.
And it's just a messy fight. We've got a 1v1 with Greg and Chase. It's dangerous right here. Chase is going to have to see if he can keep on the side of Greg, but that's tricky.
He's going to need a really high roll here, that 490 Alpha gun. He gets a high roll at 535, but not enough. Greg's going to take him down.
Same time, also, we lost a tank down in the southwest, so F7 left with 3 alive. Everything from Teal Team 6 is really beat up, but this is looking like it might go to Teal Team just on the factor of time and, well, just tanks alive. At the same time, this cap could resolve to something. Knight takes shell for 714. Greg and Emu all put shells into him. And now Viral is pinned out and alone. Halo shows up. Shots fired.
So far, Viral angling that armor well, not taking too much damage.
Oh,
He does pick up the kill onto Halo.
Halo got a little greedy right there. Overstayed his welcome just enough. And that should mean that this is going to go in favor of the defenders, Teal Team 6.
So overall, though, Teal Team 6 holding on with that defense. F7, same sort of philosophy that they ran the last match day. However, they tried to do it slightly different and altered. A little bit closer to the mark, I think, that time, but still just not enough to get through all those tank destroyers.
Yeah, it was certainly an alternate approach that we're not quite used to. I definitely haven't seen exactly that series of events before. It's certainly a little new in the tanks battle. Bat Chat going up to the hill on the defender's side late game was...
It
did not make a lot of sense. It was very, very strange for me.
It makes sense if you're thinking about the other team being a committed one-line push. If you think they're out there in the 3-line, if you can open up that hill and get those extra angles, I can justify the risk, but you know they showed exactly why it is a risk there, and I do have to give props to F7 for doing a good job at isolating that bat chat out and understanding all the routes he could get to, the teamwork there between the bat chats and zone cutting them off. So it was good coordination to get him out.
Yeah, as far as recovering, yeah, this replay right here, I think Zombie should have decided to go back up the hill instead of go back down in this case, just because of how he was caught. As the attacker, if you're not totally committed, which is what our attackers F7 were. They weren't totally committed. They were committed. They had committed a few tanks to the southwest, but not all of them. And so running a bat chat into the back lines like that is just too risky, and we saw how it backfires.
Yep, and Greg actually top damage dealer for Teal Team 6, coming in there with 3,500 damage, 3 kills. Not bad at all. Love Hitman and the other E3 also doing another 3K. So both their E3s putting up some pretty solid numbers. Chase Potato and Zone top damage dealers for F7. Vale also putting up respectable numbers. That drops off a good bit after there. Spirit Walker, their top fantasy point scorer in the league so far. Having a quiet night so far. He's really struggled to get involved in some of these games.
That'll happen. We'll see what happens when we move on to other maps, or maybe this side on Himmelsdorf. Well, or maybe he'll have more of a chance to just farm damage and points.
Yeah, well, I think part of it, when we go on to Sand River after this, maybe some more open, fluid, medium maps. He is a bad chat player after all, so something like that. Because it's been two kind of cagey maps. Well, you do bring a lot of bad chats on Mines, for example. It's a very small map, and it's kind of hard to get in there and be effective.
You're going to brawl a little lot more often than you are going to skirmish against opponents.
Exactly, and so maybe on a map like Sand River, for example, where the maps are just a lot bigger and a lot more room to move around, maybe we'll see him rise and shine a little bit there.
Perhaps. As we are getting ready for our final battle here on Himmelsdorf, score currently at 2 in
Now, we
favor.
did have Teal Team 6 call a timeout, actually. So
we did?
That is over, and we are in the countdown for the game, but that was just extra delay there for a minute, figuring out what they want to do on their offense now, and Danger Close. I just did that again. That's twice.
You did that. You're calling them Danger Close. This is their old name. They're now F7, so rebrand.
F7. I don't know why I'm doing that.
It's okay.
Anyways, so I digress. They are back. And we'll have to see what they do on defense. Maybe bring some mice and some E3s, which is what they're going to do. Coming in here with 113, a 50B, 2 mice, a 5A, bat chat, and an E3. Still opting for the bat chat. Meanwhile, Teal Team 6, who have to attack now. 2 113s, 2 50Bs, a mouse, 5A, and a bat chat.
Fair enough on the lineups. Nothing too crazy as far as I'm concerned. So I agree with most of these picks. Although that 5A frenzy we saw the first few days seems to kind of be falling back. You're seeing more 113s than you are 5As in the past few days?
They have different strong points. The 113s have overall higher DPM. The alpha, though, goes to the 5A. Slightly lower DPM. It's just slightly. Not enough that it's a super deterrent, but maybe in these sort of brawls, they want the extra speed and the DPM out of the 113.
There's a conversation we used to have a long time ago when it came to DPM versus fire rate and all of that, or DPM versus alpha and all of this. One of the most important things that we talked about was second shot. Not just the first shell you fired, but just reload time and how much damage there is between your first, second shell, and not counting the third shell. Because you want to have an engagement where you fire once, maybe twice, and then you disengage and deal with something new, right? Count on maybe 2 shells. And if your first 2 shells, damage-wise, are more efficient than your opponent's, if you've got enough tanks in position, you're gonna come out ahead, right?
Right.
As long as you can get that first gun off the battlefield in the first or second volley.
Now, the other thing I want to talk about real quick is Teal Team 6. A mouse, 2 113s, a 5A, 2 50Bs, and a bat chat. That kind of strikes me as a almost very light lineup for Himmelsdorf. Maybe it's just the recent mouse meta and Type 5 kind of has it blurred, but I feel like they're a little bit too soft to really crack a defense.
Maybe, but as far as kind of brawling potency, if I put it that way, or just the ability to take a fight.
That's my point, though, is the durability once that fight starts is what I worry about. Those 250Bs are very soft. Now, they do have good clip potential, so they knock tanks down early. They can make it work. And then the 113s to clean up, but 50Bs are soft. 113s and 5As are also pretty soft at the end of the day. The upper front plate on that 5A is extremely thin. The 113s is a little bit better, but when you have a mouse shooting at you that shoots down into your upper front plate, it's not really going to matter how thick it is.
Exactly. Now look at the hill. Bananas, zombie food, all up top. Zombie looking for possibly a target down that D line. He's going to wait for Viral to become unspotted once more. He is. Viral will probably move forward once more, spot a little bit, and once that happens, zombie food can peek up and over and just snipe out. Although looking at that, I just saw zombie food. A shell just went over his head there. A little blind fire towards the hill, showing us that F7 suspects that the hill aggression is a possibility and may be doing things to avoid that. Knight, however, is exposed.
Yeah, he's just sitting, he's holding down off some cover right now, and he'll have clean shots down the A-line and should be able to spot it as well. If you notice, he has coated optics on his E3. So he'll be able to see a tank like Viral right there in the mouse that doesn't get spotted.
Knight is spotted. Zombie Food's going to start looking to see if he can get a shot onto him.
So it looks like Viral's going to take time to start side scraping this corner, maybe try to trade with the E3, see if he can get a lucky bounce and make that E3 back off so the rest of the team can cross safely. What he doesn't know is look at the rest of Teal Team 6 right now, rotating up towards the hill.
Yes. There they are. Just climbing the hill. Taking the long way. This is not as common anymore simply because you very often find yourselves all stuck into the same little hole, little corner to hide behind, and not able to support or create crossfires. And Teal Team 6 may regret this further down the line if they can't assume the right positions. If they can, if they spread out, create the crossfires, this can work.
They are committing to this zero line, something we have not seen out of many teams in NA recently at all, or since the mouse meta. Zero line meta, getting up into A0 and playing this top corner of the cap has become a lot less common. Teams have shifted a lot more towards the 1-2 line and also stuck towards the south end of this 2 cap. So it's kind of interesting to see them willing to just take the cross, and they did that without paying any toll at all.
Good. That's the element of surprise for you. Doing something a little bit unexpected. It looks like, is this going to be crossing through the cap? It looks like,
yep, they're going to push, and they're going to try to get an aggressive position up against the Cubbies because the guns aren't there to punish it. Another bounce, nice angling there from Greg, swerving at the last second. Gets
nice.
The bounce off that front plate, and now Knight should have a shot on the Viral on the 8 line, gets a nice penetrating shot for 788. So he'll start creeping in there, and they'll start fighting along this A-line, but what they don't know is that there is a bad chat in the south. Spirit Walker does get spotted, but he spots Supernova as well, so they should be able to have a one-on-one down there, and whoever's going to win that's going to open up that south end of the map.
Yep. Meanwhile, Brawl settles in. Greg Emus taking a southernly exposed position while they're going to try and square off against Get Clicked, Halo, and Chase Potato. Nice shot right there to Get Clicked. Emu's also connecting into Halo. So Teal Team 6 putting a little bit of a fight up. But right now, the control of the situation is a little bit weak from Teal Team 6. They do have one tank on cap, but F7 is being given the time to come up with a reaction, a strategy, and it does not look like Teal Team 6
Viral's actually not in position to spot this 5-line push. These tanks on the 5 line could get caught out here for Teal Team 6.
They will be.
Nova's not in position to spot it yet.
Nova spots Spirit, and Spirit spots him back. They know that they will be spotted, so Knight and Vale understand exactly what they need to do, which is not hesitate, move out in the open.
Let's see how good the focus fire is. The E3 is going to come around, line up a shot. He takes 1 shot of damage. And now I'd expect to see the tanks in the north. 4F7 get a little bit more aggressive. Gets the shot through the drive wheel there. Knight trying to angle his armor, should get another shot off, bounces. And now
there's
Spirit
that
Walker
forward you were talking about.
Yep, they have the focus fire on that 5A. They're pushing in. They know they have this overmatch. First tank does go down for Teal Team 6, but F7 are paying a pretty heavy toll from those 50 Bs. Halo is caught out right now. Greg should also go down as Halo goes down for F7. The 113 getting behind that E3, but Zone ends up picking it up. Now the E3 and Chase Potato are together, and this is going back and forth. Get clicked on, trying to take the one-on-one right now with the Love Hitman. HP is basically dead even.
And there, Love gets 1 more shell. That's all he needs, and he should be able to take it clicked on. Momentarily, he will be loaded, and that's going to be a kill that he really needs. All right, Love can turn around. He's got a hold down position, and he's going to be the difference between victory and defeat here for Teal Team 6 on cap because of his crossfire. Without this Teal Team 6 probably wouldn't be able to hold at all.
And Knight does get 1 more shot off, and good simping there out of Vale. Coming up big there, trying to block Viral, but the Love Hitman's going to finally pick up the kill. They did what they could, focus fire going back and forth, but now F7 are down on guns. They're trying to stay in this. Supernova gets the pick on Chase Potato from all the way down south in the courtyard. Zone not able to do enough to stop him, and now it is a 3v4. HP is still relatively close.
Nice kill. Viral focusing, getting the last hit on the mouse. Spirit is out of shells and just running away. And anyone can pick him up. There we go.
And now it's all down to Zoned, and against all of our predictions, Teal Team 6 are now going to pull ahead 3-1.
There we go, 377. Trying to escape. Doesn't look like he's anyone too close. Sneaky moves from Zoned. He's going to take a right. Head down an alleyway. He's still lit, so they know where he is. Go Zoned. Let's see how far you can get.
He's actually going to beat them across the B line right now. Finally unspotted, so they have an idea he's here, but this would truly be a miracle if he pulled this out. Now, keep in mind, there are 3 one-shot tanks, and one of the tanks left alive is Viral and a Mouse, so he does have the flexibility if he can get up on this line, but Viral's going to come around, and he's going to hesitate, not go up, and he may get caught out right now as the cap pressure does get built up. Viral's going to start side-scraping this. He's going to spot Zoned here. He should line up the shot and take him down. He actually bounces!
What?
But he has to close, he has to find a reset, and with 15 seconds left, I don't see it being an option. And Supernova is going to come in here for the kill on the side, pull forward. Nice shot there, good stuff from Supernova. Taking down Zone, and it's going to extend the lead 3-1.
So, your prediction earlier.
Well, I'm already wrong, regardless of who wins.
So, what can we say about that prediction and what we missed? So, because I wasn't feeling as confident in Teal Team 6. You heard that before. I said this could go even. I could go either way. But I really didn't have anything to back up that statement. You, on the other hand, there was a reason you were thinking F7 was better.
They just seemed a bit more together on their opening match days. Now, provided Teal Team 6 did start off with Elevate, their first match, so that's never going to be an easy fight. However, F7, they seem to be a little bit more composed on the same page as far as strats goes, where Teal Team 6 still felt like they were trying to figure things out. However, they've made a lot of improvements. Very decisive stuff. I like this opening play out of them. They take control of this North Cap.
Yeah, this was an older strat, isn't it, Rox? This is something we haven't seen as much recently. It was kind of older meta almost.
Yeah, well, 754 meta back in the days, a long time ago. A lot of IS3s and 110s, shoving the 110 into that A5 pocket there, stuff like that. You know, doing their homework. And keep in mind, some of these players were playing back when that was still a thing. I don't think F7 has anyone from that day, but when you have players like Banana the Wallhost and Zombie Food, they've been around for quite a while.
And I'm glad we see those old strats, because it's not like they're irrelevant or that they're worthless now. They certainly are useful, and we just saw the example right there of a team utilizing an older strategy that, just because it's kind of fallen out of practice, out of popularity, that it was effective here. Catch your opponent off guard with something that they're not quite expecting.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I like what I saw at Teal Team 6. I like the aggression. I felt like F7's response was a little bit slow for what they saw. A little bit hesitation. I felt if they'd taken better 5-line control, maybe not committed, but taken control of the south and really just controlled the 5-line instead of pushing into it.
Yeah.
If they had cleared that bat chat out, you know, because they had Spirit Walker down there. So if they had kind of opened up that south end of the map, they really could have sat there and led the tanks from Teal Team 6 instead of going for the all-in and the brawl.
Yeah, but with that whole approach that we saw from Teal Team 6, I think that it worked well enough to keep damage off of their tanks. So they didn't pay too much of a toll, and then they just worked out. But now, on to Sand River.
Yeah, Teal Team 6, a 5A, 3 bat jets, 2 Object 140s, and a T100. Meanwhile, the side of F7 bringing a 113, 2 5As, 4 bat chats, and an STRV. Actually, it's 3 bat jets, excuse me, and a bat chat. So a very split lineup. 3 heavy tanks, 3 medium tanks, and a tank destroyer, where Teal Team 6 have opted for a T100. So we saw Viral play this T100 on this map versus Elevate. I'm going to once again refer to that. And he actually got caught out doing this opening run because of just opening positions. And it snowballed very quickly for Teal Team 6. And we'll have to see what they've changed since then and if they have a different take on how they want this to work.
Yeah. Now, look at this. Only spotting on the side of our defenders, F7, has been Viral. And I believe that was Bananas down in the middle there. And we'll have to see... Oh, Bananas spotted again. So as far as F7 is concerned, it looks kind of like mid-play with a little bit of north presence. So they're going to probably focus on defending the 2 cap.
Yeah,
Teal Team 6,
bleeding a lot of HP in that STRV.
Yeah, that is not good. He has also damaged his optics. It's not so good. Not ideal. Probably back off.
And Banana the Wallhouse and Supernova getting more aggro on that south end, and Chase Potato doesn't really have too much support right now. So he needs to be careful not to get isolated.
You should be safe. I think there's enough intel right now if you're Teal Team 6 to know that this is a classic north play, and that the only tank that could be around in the south is going to be relatively harmless. He can't risk going farther south, or else he'll get picked off himself by Emus, Bananas, and whatever else decides to show up. So Bananas is going to back off his mid position. At the same time, it looks like Emus is going to move up and take over. While the way that we're seeing motion from Teal Team 6 says this is slowly going to aggress. While F7, what are you doing? Stop this. No, not this way.
They're rotating out, and they actually catch Supernova out in the open field.
Yeah, and look at this. Like right now, they've just given up all their crossfires. They're covering. Everyone retreated all at once, and
they got caught in transition between the T100 and Greg moving up in this 5A. And now F7 are in a really awkward spot, and they could start to bleed a lot more HP if they're not careful.
Yeah, a lot of tanks are distracted. Veil, Spirit Walker, Chase, and Knight are all in one direction, while you've got Get Clicked On stuck in the open. This sucks to be him. And he just lost his driver, so what you gonna do? You gonna die. He's dead.
40's picking up the kill.
Yep.
Teal Team 6 with a strong opening play here on Sand River. And now the rest of F7 are trying to flex around in the south. The 5As and the 113 moving across there, or the 5As at this point. And the Batchat's clearing out on the south. But the problem is that they're all spotted, and Teal Team 6 are doing a great job at grouping up their tanks in the north and now taking the overmatch up there that they understand they have.
Yeah, now Zombie's all the way in the north. He's got support on the way. This is looking really great for Teal Team 6. Zombie can then focus on Halo. Halo is not expecting Zombie Food to be there. He's taken 2 shots, so Zombie has a huge advantage in this fight so far. He's going to actually keep that aggression up. Yes, he takes a shell too. All right, lost advantage from Zombie. He's going to disengage. Nicely played. See, that's how we do it. He understands, okay, I've got a little greedy, but maybe we can salvage this. He's going to jump on Cap, I expect. There we go. Good Zombie. Bananas is taking over for him, so I'm not concerned with that. Although, where is Emu's taking all this damage? He's in the mid being overmatched.
Batchats are just going to push in. Very decisive there out of F7, trying to throw the Hail Mary right now to get back into it. They've evened it up on gun. They're still down by a sizable amount on HP. And 13 seconds on the cap. They need to try to find a reset here soon.
And that might not be possible. Spirit is trying to get into position. Same with Knight, but it's going to be difficult. One shell from Greg.
Have the lights, but no shots. No one's able to get the reset, and that should be it. That should be Teal Team 6 making this 4-1.
There we go. There's the timer up top. Post-game coming in, and that'll mean a victory. Wow. Okay.
Decisive stuff, and F7 getting their pants pulled down. I mean, that's really what that looked like. That was, we're going to try to make a cheeky rotation right now. We're going to try to get out down in the south, change it up. And I'll give F7 credit for doing what I was talking about, where you're not staying on that same stagnant passive defense the whole game. They said, this is our opening, sure, we'll get spotted, and then when we're not spotted, we're going to try to, move some tanks out and reappear in different spots. It's good in theory, but it's very difficult to do in practice because what can happen is what just happened, where they were spotted the whole time they were doing it, and Teal Team 6 were just like, oh, okay, well, we'll just take that. That's just ours now. You know?
Thanks, guys. Yeah. This is pretty sweet.
Just hand it to me. Just put it in a fruit basket, why don't you?
Get clicked on was literally just clicked on. That was it, man. The way that they moved is the important thing to pay attention to. The fact that everyone on the entirety of the team decided to move all at once and retreat, that was the mistake, and that's where the entire door was left open. You can see the damage farming done by Emus, who was chilling out in the middle. Same with Zombie as well. Both of them took a turn just sitting there shooting at stuff.
Yeah, fantasy points rather low in this fight just because it was a cap out. Now, at that point, the second they were all spotted, and it's not even... Losing the 113 was icing on the cake for Teal Team 6, getting that extra pick. If they had just been given the positions, even if Get Clicked On had left, when they spotted, because they spotted it when they did, that pretty much put the nail in the coffin right then. Getting the extra 113, you're always going to take an extra kill when you can.
Yeah.
But in this case, it didn't matter. They were already lost at that point, the second he was caught out of position.
Yeah.
So just overall, good stuff there from Teal Team 6. A great read, understanding what they wanted to do when they saw the situation. They saw a softball, and they slammed it out of the park. I mean, that's the easiest way to say it.
Yeah. All right, we're getting ready to get back into battle one more time. Here is your tank lineup. We've got 2 5As, 3 Batchats, 2 Object 140s for the side of Teal Team 6. And on the side of F7, we've got a Kronwagen, 2 5As, and 4 Batchats.
Yep, now F7 are going to have to get a win right now to try to even have a chance at forcing this to overtime. What was the map after this?
The map for OT?
Yeah, no, just the 4th map. Only map 3.
Ruinbrick.
Ruinbrick. So, and that's going to be a difficult challenge in itself, being a 1-on-1 map. So even if they can win this one right now, they're not out of the woods.
Yeah, I don't think F7 or anyone really expected the matches to go quite this decidedly towards Teal Team 6.
I can say that anyone that stacked Teal Team 6 on their fantasy team should be having a pretty good night, especially Zombie Foods has put up some very impressive numbers.
Did you?
I did not.
Did you stack F7?
I didn't stack F7 either, though. I only had 1 player. And Spirit is their top fantasy point scorer this week, so trying to give credit, and I doubt I'll pick him again for a little while after the performance he has had tonight.
Aw.
maybe not his fault, but so far
sometimes
lackluster
superstars
numbers.
can't shine without strong support. Oh, nice shot right there. Who got tracked? That's from Bananas and Supernova. They're already up there. Wow, Bananas.
And these Batchats look like they're going to get caught out in the north.
It's opening engagement.
Or F7.
2v2, but one of them's consistent fire against 2 autoloaders.
Who are missing shots right now.
Just zoned, and it was just the one. Don't be too harsh yet. Just one shell. Just
but you need all 5 to count to win in these one-on-ones. I mean,
just messing with you. It's okay. It's just a bad chat.
If
They miss all sorts of shells. They miss all the time.
At this range, though, and being a low probability shot, I don't know that that's one that you really want to take. But I digress. It looks like F7 are getting very aggressive in the south
there
as well
we go.
right now.
Little flank around on the south. That's usually effective, and at the same time bring the Kronwagen over, so he's the hull down. Everyone who's peeking out to look for Halo takes shells from Spirit Walker in the Kronwagen. It's a nice play. In theory, doesn't look like Teal Team 6 is going to totally fall for it, but that doesn't mean the maneuver can't work itself out.
And the Batchats are going to leave the base, and now the 140s are free, and these tanks in the middle ridge need to figure out what they're going to do, because they could all of a sudden be the ones being overmatched if they're not too careful.
Very, very true. Although, look at this. Those tanks from F7 that pulled out of the northwest have, well, Supernova and Bananas just discovered that they're gone, so they're pulling back. And we're going to have to see Teal Team 6 get control back for a few of their positions. Once they do that, things will okay. But I see Vale going after zombie food. And he's going to start putting fire onto him.
And Greg's in a position to flank these heavy tanks who are isolated right now, and he's going to start trying to snap off shots. Misses the first one, gets the second one onto the Kronwagen, and now the 5As are going to come around on the low side. They have this Kronwagen's turret split every which direction, and this is going terribly for F7 right now.
Yep, looks like, oh, amazing. Some bounces on Bananas. The wall hosts are going to keep him alive off in that northwest section of the map. Nicely done. Okay, this is actually looking much better for Teal Team than it could have been. Got pretty messy there for a second.
Vale's actually going to start taking some damage over on the other side of the map. He's going to go down to zombie food.
Clicked is hiding. Knight is out in the open with zoned. They're going to actually go chase after that north section, see if they can take down Supernova and Bananas.
So it looks like they're going to go for Chase Potato first, as the isolation is going to come out here. That's going to finish him off. And now it's just down to these 3 Batchats for F7, who only have about 2,000 HP left between them.
Yep, Zone takes the first shell. Knight the second. Supernova knows he can get the kill. Does on to Knight. As Zoned moves on to Bananas. Get clicked has been spotted. Oh, a low roll. And a second shell is not a connection. There's the kill. Zone did not get what he wanted there.
And that is going to be Teal Team 6 picking up the 5-1 victory over F7, something that none of us saw coming to begin with.
Yeah.
However, they showed up to play. F7 did not. Teal Team 6 had changed some of their strats from before, made some improvements, stuff that I was a big fan of. I liked the adaptations they made there. Capitalized on all the mistakes that F7 threw up, and just overall, great stuff from Teal Team 6.
Yeah, very impressive. I think that's what defines this entire match is those little openings, those tiny mistakes, those tiny points in a transition where F7 didn't do enough to protect themselves. And when they didn't do that, I think that's it entirely. Every single time, Teal Team 6 saw a weakness, and when they went for it, they won. There were times that it wasn't the case. It was a little more classic as a fight kind of maneuvering, but examples like at the beginning of the series when we saw a bold push out of F7. That was a nice, strong first win, but everything after that.
So what I have to say about F7 was the theories that they went for, the ideas, the philosophies were there. The execution was not. Stuff like the Himmelsdorf games, for example. Those are things, or the first Sand River game. They're strats that will work if you are very, very delicate with them. Getting caught out like that, that's just going to make it just go wrong. You have to kind of do it in phases. You have to do it very deliberately and very, be very coordinated when you do it, and it just wasn't there for F7 tonight.
Yep, and now let's look at the post-battle stats. In this last one, we saw Greg, Supernova, Zombie Food, and Bananas all putting up solid numbers. And then down at the bottom, yep, second page, Love Hitman and his 5A didn't get much done, poor guy.
Got
but otherwise, that was a strong match for Teal Team 6.
Yeah, overall, it was fairly decisive stuff. Looking at the match, Zombie Food putting up an impressive 346 fantasy points, 1,400 damage.
Nicely done.
The Love Hitman and Supernova all coming in strong. Vale only coming in with 256. 4F7 on the second page. Spirit Walker barely hitting 200. Chase Potato, Halo get clicked on, not putting up anything comparable either. Viral putting up 204. So overall, you know, I don't think the damage and fantasy points really reflect that game, just because there was so many smart things that Teal Team 6 did that they really capitalized on, like the fast cap there. That was just a great individual play that's not going to translate to a lot of fantasy points.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, I'm being told that we have an interview ready with Teal Team 6. Sir, welcome back to the broadcast. We have a few questions, if we can, for the captain of Teal Team 6. Greg.
There you are, Greg.
How's it going?
Sir. So, I think we both are aware of where everyone stood before the match, but things have changed a little, Greg.
You think?
Yeah,
all three. You said that we were gonna get crushed.
Yeah.
Let's see. It was a 5-1, and we kind of pulled that off.
Yeah. Well, what's going on, Greg? How are you doing these things? What are you doing? You got to tell me your secret.
we're putting in the time. We're putting in the effort, and we're putting up the points.
Yeah, and
that's all there is to it, I guess.
Yeah, and so you might have heard.
You can probably hear our comms are absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely, dude. So I want to ask about every battle after the first one. All right, Greg? To me, it looked like you guys saw an opening or a weakness or a mistake that F7 made, and you jumped on it. Just about every time it was something along those lines, or you just went for something. I don't know how much you knew going into all of your maneuvers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, that's basically what's happening. Our first match ended up really rough. The only reason we had a patent was because Bloop ended up DCing during the tank picking, so we had that issue. But after that, there were these mistakes and holes that F7 kept putting up, and we recognized them and we dominated them.
That makes a lot more sense. We were sitting here just like trying to figure out the mystery of the patent, but now all of a sudden knowing that there isn't a mystery and it was just a mistake makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, the one other question.
Just kidding. That's not true at all. That's actually our Trump strat. We just didn't get to show it off. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, we'll keep that in store for next time. Now, the one last question I did have for you was start of the game. You said that you were all business, no memes. Is this part of the new Teal Team 6, or are you guys going to go back to your memeing ways?
Oh no, I can meme as much as you want. I just didn't want to meme tonight. I mean, tonight was an important battle. Realistically, there's two brand new teams. Us and F7 are both brand new teams. We need to beat them, and we need to beat out another team if we want to have no worries about relegation. Obviously, we don't want to get relegated, so we're going to put up our fight, and we're going to make the most of this. We need the points, and we got the points. So let's see how the rest of the season pans out for us.
All right. Thank you very much, Greg. Any final thoughts for your fans or sponsors or anything else like that out there?
I want to give a shout out to USL. They're working pretty hard there. The unofficial Silver League, they're doing their best to recapture the Silver League that's been lost over the past few seasons. And if you're interested in doing league, try them out, talk to them. There's a bunch of good guys. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Thanks,
all
Greg,
right.
man.
Thank you very much for joining us, Greg.
All right.
Have a good night.
All right, well, that is going to do it for the first match. Any other things that you want to recap, or we've pretty much covered it all?
I think we very much summed up that this was a surprise, a pleasant surprise, but a surprise. So there you go.
All right, guys. Well, we are going to take a few minutes to get ready for our next match, so don't go anywhere because it is going to be 07 versus Top Tier. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, with more World of Tanks action. We just watched Teal Team 6 take down F7 5-1 in very decisive fashion. And now we are up to what is a vitally important match for two teams, Top Tier versus 07.
Yes, Top Tier will be bringing back a few players today off of suspension from earlier this season for disciplinary reasons. Because of that, that's going to allow them to fill out their roster. 07 has had a rough time to start this season.
Well, they're on track to being 0-7 if they're not too careful, so they definitely need to step it up. However, we'll get to that in just a minute. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at WGLNA and on Facebook at facebook.com/WGLNA. Get in there for the Facebook Live pre-show every match day at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. We'll answer any fantasy questions about the league, or anything else related to World of Tanks if you have them, so make sure you stop by.
Yep, and when it comes to fantasy, you need to go to fantasytanks.com for prizes to compete here. Pick players. If depending on their performance, you get points. If you get more points than other people, you get Type 59s. You get gold. You get all sorts of cool stuff. So go ahead, sign up. Go ahead and join this for some good fun.
Yeah, a little tidbit there. Type 59 is actually being buffed next patch too. So even better. Now's a good time to get it. All right, now we're going to move on to tonight's match. That is going to be Top Tier up against 07. Top Tier, we were talking about their players coming back from suspension. Exits, Delph, and Muriel all available for play tonight. I have been told that we will see, I believe, all of them. So that is going to be Top Tier back to full strength. And they have Rude Awakening as their caller. Nitz will go back to the bench. He was retired and was called out of action by Top Tier at the last second so he could come help them out. He has stepped in, and I've been told that he will be departing during the roster change.
Oh, well, thanks, Nitz, for coming in. Top Tier really needed the support.
And then we'll move on to 07, who will remain unchanged since the season starts. They could make a change this weekend during the roster change, but we'll get to that later. Looking at the lineup, you have players like Arclit, FC Dynamo, and Colsoid, who have all been fairly strong performers so far this season. Colsoid has been really impressive on several of his matches. However, the one thing that sticks out is look at that attacking win rate for 07, 9%. Now, it is early in the season, so small sample size, but 9% on offense, that definitely sends question marks up into the air.
They're having a rough time at the start. Don't read too far into it. Teams that tend to, well, seeing as they have 0 points right now, their scores are going to look really bad. That's just how it's going to be.
You don't think it's time to reach under the seat for the flare gun or smash the S7 button yet?
No, not yet. Just calm down. We've got 2 whole round robins to get through. So these guys play each other twice, meaning these early wins can impact you later, sure, but let's not draw conclusions yet from a pool of data which isn't statistically viable yet.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can draw any conclusions from the map pool that we're going to be playing tonight as we look at those and see what's going to happen. Sand River and Cliff, first one's banned. Then we're going to have first up for picks, Prok and Himmelsdorf. Himmelsdorf is actually one of Top Tier's better maps, in my opinion. They did take a round off Elevate at our season finals. Ruinberg, not being surprised seeing that thrown out there. Same with Murrow.
Okay.
It's a map that Top Tier actually haven't been that comfortable with. And then Mines and Ghost Town. Ghost Town, I question, because we have seen 07 play it in past seasons and be kind of shaky on it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't give me the most confidence if we get to map 8. Or map 4, anyways.
This is a kind of we shall see series of maps for me. I was feeling a little shaky about this as far as like the match, how it was going to go earlier, but the maps don't really help me either. I don't really feel like I've got a clear answer here today, sir.
Yep, well, we didn't have a clear answer on the first one, obviously.
Yeah, we certainly thought that. Yeah, we thought Teal Team 6 and F7 was going to go a different way. Now with Top Tier and 07, well, today seems to be the day of, well, what we don't know.
Let's see if we can get our predictions right going into this one. I am favoring Top Tier right now. I believe I said 5-2.
Yeah.
I think you were a little bit more in favor of 07, but you still ended up with Top Tier at the end?
I gave it a tiebreaker to Top Tier because 07, I don't know how confident they are right now, and the thing is, Top Tier's got new players coming back. Maybe they'll be motivated and ready to do this.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for is Top Tier. Now that they have all their players together, they're kind of on the same page, ready to go, really going to start sharpening their teeth a little bit. And 07 is a good team to practice sharpening those teeth on, so we'll see what happens. And then you having absolutely no faith in 07, 5-1. I don't think he's too far off, to be honest. I feel like 07 have the individual player ability to get more than 1 point, but if they play like they did in the last couple match days, I could see it.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just like with the Teal Team 6 F7 situation where it could go in either way for any number of reasons is really how I'm feeling about it. Because if top tier shows up and the players that have come back are ready to go and everyone's well practiced and motivated and there's nothing weird with that, sure, might go fine for top tier and actually go poorly for 07. If 07 has taken these first few days and said, you know what, guys, we need to practice harder, we need to get ready for this, we can't fall behind, we have to pick up a win, maybe they've done their practice, done their homework, and this is the day that they turn around, right?
Yep.
Because that's kind of what we waited for in the past with a team like Rival. With a team like Rival, they always were horrible throughout the entire season until the point at which it mattered for them to get into the playoffs. They would then instantly turn on their good skills and start winning.
Except for the first season of Tier 10, where they just magically were one of the best teams in NA overnight. They put up points versus High Voltage back then, as well as Noble, and they were turning heads. And then the next season came around, and it was just...
Yeah, so that was the sign that it was going to end. It's because they had their little high point, and then it was going to be over.
Yeah. Now 07, they arguably haven't really had that high point. They did make it to our Season 1 finals last year. They looked pretty decent, but they ended up getting shut out pretty early on. Do you consider that their high point, or do you think there's still higher to go for them?
Yeah, 07 hasn't really finished their career. I don't think this team's going to be going anywhere for a while. So we'll see what they do.
Yep. Now, you have a player like Arclit in this lineup, a Stratician. Now, Fosta is the captain and main caller, but we're seeing a lot more voices, especially when we do the listen-ins. We're seeing, especially Andy Pan sticks out to mind, and Arclit both kind of being a lot more vocal. What do you read into that?
Well, didn't we hear Andy actually sound like he was actually making the calls for one of the battles?
I think on Himmelsdorf, it was pretty definitively Andy making the calls. Now, we actually are going to be joined by both captains. We can ask Meadowhawk about it himself as they join us.
Gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast. We've got Rude Awakening, and we've got Meadowhawk. Oh, Meadowhawk, what is the occasion, sir? For what is that? That's a sparkler, and
I made it. I had a blue screen about 10 seconds ago. It was a disaster. Party disaster.
Oh no.
But we are here. Papa Rude is a proud father. We are at a happy unbanning day. He's welcoming his lost sons back into the fold. So we're here to celebrate. It's gonna be good.
Okay, that's it says happy unbanning. I guess you can't buy happy unbanning at the dollar store.
No, you have to Etsy that kind of stuff.
Oh man.
All right. Now, Rude, you're over there shaking your head.
Yeah.
Now, I have to try to make this a little bit serious. You have your 3 players back now. Do you feel that you guys can start really contending again, or you think you're a little bit ways off?
We're a little bit ways off right now. The players they're just coming back. We had to practice with the backups. We're shuffling things around. We're just trying to get ready and try to get the train going full speed by the second half of the season, by the second round robin. So this next upcoming few matches are going to be extremely unpredictable for us.
All right, so do this, and it's the 1 to 100% scale. Where would you rank yourself right now?
8.
Oh, all
out
right.
of 100.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
No confidence there.
No, or that just says that they see a lot of growth potential. All right.
It's also one way to look at it. Now, Meadowhawk, your team is on track to being 0-7 if you're not too careful. Have you guys kind of been working on things? We know that we heard Andy calling during one of your last matches. Are you guys trying to change it up a little bit, or what's the deal with your team right now?
Yeah. If Rude's at an 8, we're definitely at about a 5, maybe a 4. But that was one of the changes we made over the weekend. Fosta stepped back from the calling role because we needed to change something. So Andy's kind of is going to try to take over calling. Hopefully we're going to get some input from Warbander and Arclit. Obviously they're very important because they need to translate. And if we can have a caller that can speak both languages, it'll definitely increase the speed of our rotates and important communication. But other than that, we're just hoping that we can catch top tier while they're still readjusting, because we kind of need these points to get out of the basement.
All right. Well, I think that about does it. Just like the first face-off, I like to keep this one short just because I want to see you two play already. Rude, do you have any final thoughts for 07 or Meadowhawk?
Meadowhawk, I wish you good luck. So,
all right.
See you guys on the battlefield.
All right, Meadowhawk, anything for Rude and top tier?
Well, we got to sing a song, so we're going to go Happy Unbanning Day, top tier. Happy Unbanning Day, top tier. Happy Unbanning Day, dear Muriel, Delph, and Exit. But not Pompous, he's an idiot.
Yay!
I can't even keep a straight face right now.
Yay! That was wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Meadowhawk, everyone, from 07. Clap, clap, clap. All right. As always, that was beautiful for Meadowhawk. Rude is a good sport. Thank you so much. And I think that's a great way to get into this match. Both teams trying to tell us, you know what, we've got it bad. No, if you think you've got it bad, we've got it worse.
Yeah, well, like I said, this was a vital match for both of them just because right now it's top tier on 3 points and 07 on 0 points. So they need to get something going. Now, neither of them scream confidence, which is kind of, it's kind of a funny mix between the first match and the second match. We have two captains who are very confident in their team despite having rough starts and being new in the Gold League. The league hasn't quite killed their soul yet, as you will, where these two look like they've been through the washing machine a few times.
They both Rude and Meadowhawk have been in this league long enough to the point where they can have a little bit of humor about the whole thing, especially when they're not doing well. You have to be able to cope with it, right? If you're going to lose from time to time, or half the season, you got to learn to be okay with that. If you can't learn to be okay with that, your team's going to fall apart. And that's where all the other teams that we don't talk about are. They're the ones who lost confidence and couldn't keep it together. 07 and top tier, the reason that they can stay together is because people like Rude, right? It doesn't matter if you're doing poorly. He's always staying positive, looking for improvement, but he's going to be honest. He's not going to say we're at the top of our game to anyone. He's not going to go out there and lie about it. He's going to be like, we're not doing well. And he's going to expect his entire team to turn that around because they want to hear Rude say, we're doing well. That's what they want. They want to win.
Yeah, and you got to keep fighting for it. He's trying to keep them motivated.
Yeah.
And looking at the lineups as they come in here, 2 IS-7s, 3 5As, a Batchat, and a T100 for the offense of top tier. 07, on the other hand, an IS-7, 4 5As, and 2 Batchats. Both FC Dynamo and Colsoid playing the Batchats. Now looking at the lineup for top tier, a T100. What do you make of that?
T100? I like it. Good little scout.
We haven't seen it too much on Prokhorovka.
We've seen it once or twice, I believe. But you're right, also quite a rare choice. And very often we'll see it in passive positions more often than active scouting. The active scouting positions are expected to be taken by tanks like Delph. But Muriel could go for an opener based on his spawn. As we are seeing right now, he had the most effective position in order to make a nice little mid-run and spot every tank on his way through. But 07...
Both teams going very heavy on Prok.
Yeah, and also going right towards the middle. Magos, Warbander, FC Dynamo's making his way up there. And he actually almost everything. Shots out towards Muriel. Not much spotting, actually. Not much at all. And that's going to be huge, as this looks like it could be... Oh, is this really? Are we about to see an up and over brawl? No way. You've got to be kidding me. This isn't what... No.
This isn't 2015, guys.
Guys, it's been 2 years. Guys, it is. It's a mid-fight. First shot's going into Foster for 451. One into Rude Awakening, 453. So on either side, there's been a little bit of bloodying, but it's going slightly in the favor of top tier for now. This is purely a game of who can fire well when there's a slight defilade. Muriel getting focused out a little bit on the west side.
Is caught out on the 0 line, or on the 1 line right now. He goes down, and now that's going to open up the 1 line for top tier, and they may be able to get some shots into the tanks of 07 as they're already down 3,000 HP.
Yep, this is a focus fire game, guys. You have to keep up your focus fire, have to keep landing your shells. And there we go. Foster is focused out of the fight. Andy Pans looks like he could be the second focus. Meantime, on the west side, FC Dynamo is taking on a Batchat that looks like it's Delph. Muriel is there to try and support, and that's going to be it. In the middle, it is over. Second tank goes down, and the third Arclet is dead. An ammo rack, it looks like, onto Two tanks from top tier are down now again. And now Warbender is the only tank remaining on the side of 07. Top tier has effectively torn apart 07 in the first battle.
Simple, not elegant.
Nope, not even close.
That is like the definition of taking a battling ram just to a door and just knocking it down.
I've seen this happen actually very serious battles, and well, it can work. Usually there's a little bit more aggression or an up and over, as it were. But I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge. That worked, and they won with 4K hit points left. That's more than a lot of other battles.
Only 2 tanks down. You know, like we said earlier, when you go for those sort of engagements, you're going to take losses. You are going to lose HP, but you just need, that's just the result of good focus fire by both teams, and just top tier. The trades early were a little bit sloppy, but they managed to get the first couple of picks. And the main thing that I think turned that was the one-line fight. It was the one bat chat of Colsoid versus the bat chat and T100 from top tier. You see it in the top of the screen there. You see Muriel pushing down in front of Delth, and there's Colsoid, and they end up winning that fight. And what that does is that sets a timer for 07. That says, hey, that bat chat's going to be loaded, and they're going to have shots on the back of our tanks, so we have to do something. And they didn't. And if they had just sat there any longer and let that bat chat work, all of a sudden that could have just been even worse for 07, and it wouldn't have even needed top tier to make that push over.
Yeah, I think if we'd seen a slightly different play from 07, this could have gone differently, but they decided to keep their bat chats out of an engagement for way too long. And looking at this damage, Warbander putting up top damage, even though his team...
And he's always been a heavy tank player, so playing the I-7 there, very at home on that ridge, did pretty good. Jodo Jackie, the top fantasy point scorer so far this season for top tier, putting up 84 fantasy points, 3k damage, and 3 kills, a very solid opening round. Rude Awakening having a very strong game as well. Kako and Muriel actually putting up 86 fantasy points in that light tank. Not bad. Just all the spotting damage from the bat chat and getting the shots in the back.
And he did some damage himself. That wasn't that bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So pretty solid in that T100. Then on the second page here, nothing that really sticks out. Fosta is not really able to get into the fight.
No damage, I think, is the big one right there.
Yeah, and keep in mind, he's also was the caller on the team, and callers typically, not to knock on the callers out there, myself included, but we're not typically the strongest player in a team.
I think, though, that Meadow had mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, he mentioned in the interview that Foster might be stepping away from calling.
Yeah, so he can focus on his play a little bit more, but there's still, it's not just something where you just flip it off overnight and all of a sudden it's just 100% focused on play. So definitely something to keep an eye on going forward. Because there are some players sitting on the bench for F7 or 07 that could step in if need be.
Yeah, so we are getting ready now. Just 10 seconds left until the next battle. Let's take a look at the lineups as we're about to get into the battle number 2 on Prokhorovka. Now, lineups, it looks like we're going to have some IS-7s, 3 5As, a Bat Chat, and a T100 on the side of top tier. 07 bringing a 113, 4 5As, and 2 Bat Chats. So looking at a rather heavy lineup from both sides. Rox, are we looking at having another brawl in the middle of the map?
That's what it says to me, except they brought 2 Bat Chats this time so they could win the one-line fight. But once again, maybe nothing elegant's going to come out here, and we'll see what happens. However, remember, Muriel has the passive ability, so if he gets into a good position early, he can spot the Bat Chats and maybe change it up there.
We shall see FC Dynamo going off to the east. They'll pay attention to that. And the main body of 07 is not going to the mid. They're actually going to go west side. And what's going to be important here is Muriel and Delth. Muriel is currently taking an aggressive route. He's noticed there's nothing at all almost on this side of the map. And he may go passive. If he does, it'll be the right choice. He just doesn't know it yet. And there we go. Nice approach. Gets into the low ground, approaches from the south. Passive in a bush. Muriel is in a perfect position in order to spot things coming down the one line. Here's the trick. 07 sees stuff like this coming. They are going to pay a little bit by taking damage. Major Issues taking some hits. Everything in the mid from top tier spotted. But what happens now is everything from 07 has avoided getting spotted out on the one line and instead is now focusing on that middle section. At the same time, Colosoid, FC Dynamo, those 2 guys are going to be moving around to flank and pressure the mid. Muriel will be counter-flanking from the opposite side.
And he's going to run straight into Arclet, though, so keep an eye on that because he has one Bat Chat supporting him, but this T100 may struggle against this 5A even at close range. And Arclet actually fizzes out on the tracks with that heat shell.
Stopped him cold, though.
Yeah, Delph trying to get into the fight, trying to get some more damage off. Arclet's still alive, angling what he can, bouncing a lot of shots. Another penetration from Delph coming out there is going to track him. Murillo picks up the kill, and now it's going to open up the map. Now keep an eye in the middle here. Now that's done because top tier, they're going to go in hot now that they know they have full map control, and Exits is just going to go up and over. Jodo's going to come behind him.
Yep, they recognize the flank is coming in. Forward is the best direction. Pick your target, focus on it. It's going to be major issues first. Second, where are you going to go? Warband or Andy Pans? We've got a split fire already. Needs to focus up for top tier to win here. They're going to focus on Andy. Good.
So they keep an eye on the Bat Chats. Delph is going to come in. He's still not loaded, but he's trying to keep an eye on FC Dynamo so he can clip him out and take him as his own responsibility. Focus fire is starting to dwindle out here. Tanks are dropping for both teams. Only 4 alive. HP still in favor of top tier. They do take down Makos. Looks like they're going to try to go for FC Dynamo next. Warband trying to get in the way, simp up some shots.
Colisoid shows up and he is loaded right behind everything. He's got shots into Delph, Joe Jackie, Lobtov, whoever he wants.
Too much HP, Randall, too much HP.
Yeah, but he does show up dangerously, you know, scary, out of nowhere.
Great positioning, but 30 seconds too late.
Yeah, a little bit too late, yeah. And Dynamo's gonna run. Looks like the chase is on. Tracked out in the open is FC Dynamo. One more should finish him off.
And Real is just on the track of FC Dynamo here, lines up the shot and sets the fire to pick up the kill, and that is going to be a 2-0 victory in favor of top tier.
Nice.
So extending their lead. 07 still struggling.
And what you have to pay attention to is top tier really was just being aggressive. They understood that just be aggressive. 07's not at a place where they're going to be able to really push back at you.
Yep. Now, before we get into the post-battle stats, we do have a score from the offline matches. It was Elevate 5-1 over Aquatic M60s, and then it was Eclipse taking down Dare Rising 5-2. So 2 very strong games. Dare Rising going to slip up from first place and actually be tied with Eclipse now in that duel for second place. Remember, the 1 and 2 get an automatic bye to the finals and skip the rest of the online playoffs.
That's why you want to be first and second.
Yep.
Yep. Also seeding.
Yeah, seeding also as well, so definitely keep an eye on it. And now we're going to get into the replay here. Arclet going down. And from that point on, you notice they have one line control, so they have these heavy tanks bottled up. And I say it time and time again, when you're surrounded, take all your tanks and go. And when they recognized the Bat Chats were behind them and they were left in an awkward spot, they just picked up all their tanks and they went. And props off to Exits, even though he got focused out early. He realized, look, we just need to make this happen. We need to go. And just drove over. And look at this, Murillo making that T100 work. Welcome back to the league. 3,000 damage, 4 kills, 133 fantasy points. Wow.
Yep. See, that's what happens when you get the T100 in the right spot. I think we still underestimate it a little bit because the DPM isn't that bad.
Yep, and in the next patch, it's getting buffed again as well. So, you know, light tanks, you know, starting to be prevalent in League. And then on the second page here, Delph and Exits struggling. But once again, props off to Exits. Realize, look, I'm going to be the first one there. Everyone needs to catch up. But I'm going to eat that opening volley, pushed in, ate the shots, and allowed the rest of his team to push in around him and win that brawl.
Absolutely. There we go. So, and just notice right there, Arclet Major, Andy Pan's Warbender, all at the bottom there with damage. That's top tier showing you they focused these tanks out, completely annihilated them. Very, very well played. So now we're going to move on to Himmelsdorf, where starting on the defending side is going to be top tier. And, well, that means 07's going to have to figure out the attack. Now, based on what we've seen already from defense, offense, doesn't matter from top tier, some bit of aggression. Are you thinking we'll see something like that again, or should top tier be slowing it down?
Knowing Rude, I don't think they'll be sitting still anytime soon. That's something I do love about Rude's calling style just in general is he does understand when he needs to slow it down a little bit, but he's always looking if there's something he can do to take the advantage of their opponent, whether it's their positioning or whatnot. You'll very, very rarely see him say, this is where we're going to sit and this is where we'll be happy.
Yeah, the passive play and sloth are not exactly attributes that you can apply.
Yeah, and you have to look at all the teams that Rude has called for. The original top tier team was known for almost borderline reckless aggression at some points.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, they were one of the teams that pioneered going up and over after Simp. They, especially with the RU-251s and other stuff, they were fine taking those brawls. And then he went on to Simp, a team that went to the grand finals several times. And he was on that team once, and they did pretty well there. And then now back on top tier, and top tier since coming back have been a very, very strong team.
All right, now as we get into game, looking at some of the opening moves, this is JoJo Jackie heading out to the northwest.
Now look at these lineups. 07, a mouse, 358s, an object, 263, and 2 bat chats. The 263 to me screams Sparklet. He's known for liking those oddball tank choices. 263 is a very powerful tank, but not one we're used to seeing. Now, top tier on their hand, 2 mice, type 5, 2 IS-7s, a 113, and an E4.
Real quick, though, we do have a crazy move coming out of 07. We got Colosoid and FC Dynamo already up at the north cap, and they're getting into position for possibly just a fast cap. Is that what we're looking at right now?
Possibly, maybe trying to catch someone out of position with those clips.
No, I think it's going to be that fast cap pressure, as everyone else on the side of 07 is on the south side, looking north. Maybe some sniping out. As you know what, to figure out what's going on, let's take a listen with 07, see what they have to say.
It's difficult.
What is shooting our bats?
Mouse, stay here.
Somebody at the wall.
Oh, mouse is there. Fuck.
Just put one bat on. Don't bleed, guys. One bat can be further back.
Один бат может просто захватывать, один сидеть в жопе, чтобы вас не пиздили.
This mouse, can you spot? I will spot the mouse, I guess, leaving. But it's you got these guys. You gotta stay. Make sure you can shoot this, because.
Yeah, I should be able to move up the 8.
What the mouse?
He's lit.
There's IS-7 here.
Yeah, they're moving now. Should we move up 8?
Just get shots on this, and then Wheezies will go up the 8 line.
Хорош.
Makers don't die.
Makers don't die.
Bad chats are gonna be able to get out, guys.
Okay. Do we still moving up the 8?
Hold on. Stay there to punish. I'll let them crossing back over.
The IS-7 is pushing up behind me, I think.
Just back up. We'll get a bat on the hill.
They are going up the hill, I think. You gotta stay.
That's fine. Just get the bats on the hill.
Makers, can you get out?
Баты, едьте на горку.
I'm gonna try.
Oh yeah, you're good, dude.
Can we play this? They have a TD. They have 2 tanks here in the TD, maybe.
Yeah, I just want to chill for a second to see if we can get damage crossing the 5 line. As long as Makos is safe, but then set up to push K1.
You can try probing K2.
Where am I going now?
Just chill on the hill, do tank spirit things.
You didn't take... Oh, he didn't take damage for it. This 113 didn't take any damage for it.
There we go. Hit him, please, IS-7, guys, come on. Nobody?
Why? You have to be closer to shoot Major. You have to be closer.
What are we waiting for here, guys?
Why?
Okay. Anyways, we'll set up for K1, guys.
They are flexed
again.
Just tracked them.
We're gonna set up for...
Yeah, I like the idea out of 07, but I'm kind of confused right now, Randall. You sell the team hook, line, and sinker. You spot all their tanks making that rotation, and you don't capitalize on it?
They are not in that spot, man. You could hear the comms. They're trying to get shots into tanks. They're trying to deal damage with this, and they're trying to take advantage. I was watching the IS-7 that you were hearing on comms for a minute. He bounced 4 shells off his front and sides just at range. It just didn't work. Not this time. And so 07's going to have to figure out what they want to do to salvage this. Advantage is top tier is out of the original positions that did give them some advantage on the west side. So if 07 does decide to pressure west side, they should be able to make some decent headway before they meet any considerable resistance. They can get out there for now.
Right now, the mouse is actually really the only gun in position to deal off damage. Delth and Exits are trying to get in position, and it looks like they are in range now. But they were looking on the 3-line side, so it took them a second. And so a very small toll being paid by F7 to get over here. Only 1 shot of damage.
Yeah, 07 doing a decent job with that. And they're going to have Warbender and Major issues out in the west. Nothing else is really known at this point, so... But it's enough to say, okay, this is west side aggression. Warbender's in a position where he can't rotate back to support the 1 line, not unless you give him all of the next 5 minutes to do so. This is 07 saying we are all in, dedicated to the west side, which should result in top tier kind of just shifting and moving into the west side. To me, it looks like a top tier hold from this point onward. Look at hit points, look at positions, time left. Everything says that 07's not going to have enough in order to quite push this over the finish line. And top tier should be able to respond.
Yeah, well, the backshots are re-pushing in towards this 2-cap, but I don't think they realize how many guns are still sitting here for top tier.
Yeah, FC Dynamo and looks like Colosoid are going to try to play around in the backfield.
They just got an education as they spot them all, and now they're sitting here trying to figure out what to do. Their really only play is one line, but their guns are not together enough to really make some progress. Maybe if they can chip down Jojo Jackie, get 2 more shots into him, they can make this work, but Warbander's been losing the trades with them so far.
Yeah, this is not going too great. Right now, this is definitely looking like it should go top tier. They've got the hold on the north. Jojo, I don't see how you get Jojo out of his current position. It's actually quite strong.
Well, the 113 does have a rather weak hatch on top, so you can get some shots through there, but at range, even with a mouse, Warbander might find that kind of difficult. Maybe some HE shells sneak in there, but that's really your only play is you have to find a way to get him down. And once again, Jojo just making good use of the heat rounds from that 113, hitting the turret at just the right angle and getting the penetration.
And here's the aggression. FC Dynamo, Indipans, Colosoid moving up through the center courtyard. Makos looks like he's getting ready to overwatch, but as you can tell, he's looking towards the north cap right now, not quite down the same lane that Indipans and Colosoid are going. At the same time, look at this. Oghako and Rude are moving around to flank in the IS-7s. They'll be able to push in and focus on Indipans, who's actually taking on Delth right now. Delth puts 492 into him, just in time for Oghako to peek out. Shots from the rear, perfectly done. And then Rude Awakening will take his advantage. 2 shells right in for free. Now, Zitz did take himself some damage, but Delth may be loaded shortly. There he is. Nice little finisher. Colosoid moves in, says, all right, maybe we can do this, but he only has 1 shell. Decides to take 1 in return, which is really not equitable, and run into the backfield. Jojo Jackie should have a shell. Low roll. And Colosoid will pay a huge toll.
Yeah, but Colosoid's actually going to get in behind here. He might find some shots on the Muriel. Now he's going to choose to not make that cross. He knows he's a 1-shot, and Muriel gets spotted, so he knows he's looking towards them as Rude gets the pick onto FC Dynamo.
Yep, across the courtyard there.
This is just going out of control. Oghako picks up Colosoid finally, coming in late in that IS-7, and F7, they had one moment that they could have seized, but unlike Teal Team 6 earlier, just not seizing the opportunity. Once they had all the takes spotted to the north, they needed to move.
Real quick, we've got Delth and Zitz here, or Exits. Delth has turned himself sideways. Arclet's holding his shell because he wants to get a kill onto Exits, but Exits just not going to give it to him. And because of that, well, this is going to be over pretty soon. Arclet is not doing anything. He's just kind of given up at this point or something. Exits moves. Shot fired by Arclet. Exits fires into Delth. Oh, and then Arclet runs forward, takes crossfire, and is done. Oh, man. Top tier.
Delth was like ammo racked or something.
No.
I didn't see him fire.
Delth?
Yeah.
No, he'd fired a moment before.
Okay.
Before you'd gotten a chance to look at him. And then after that, yeah, it was just a silly situation.
Well, that is going to be a clean sweep. And the lead extended to 3-0 for top tier.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Strong defense. They did get kind of dragged around the battlefield a little bit, but the responses were perfect. Very often we see teams play the defense a little bit more conservatively, and instead of pulling all these flanks and counterattacks that you usually see, well, that you'll less often see, they'll pull a few more of those out, excuse me. And because of that, they do end up getting some better results. Yeah?
And don't worry, Delph did plenty of damage that game.
Yeah, he did? How much?
4,200.
Ah, 4,200.
So that should rack up some fantasy points. Muriel, on the other hand, despite having some strong opening games on Prok, not quite able to do as much as we see here. You know, and watch, if you see this, they pick up the kill, and at this point, you know, Exit's going to take one more shot here.
This I did not agree with. Colosoid going out in the open like that to put 1 shell that ended up not connecting.
No, I agree, but he didn't have too many options and places to go because top tier were behind them as well, so it kind of didn't leave him with a whole lot of options. And looking at the fantasy points here, with all that damage, 91 fantasy points out of Delph. Major issues, 46 fantasy points, 3,400 damage, so not bad there despite being on the losing team, did what he could. And then the 263 Makos, 2,250 fantasy points. Rude, rather strong showing out of him in the heavy tank. He's been playing pretty much nothing but heavy tanks tonight and doing pretty solid in them.
That's what he's known for.
Yep, and then on the second page here, nothing that really sticks out as vital or crucial. Muriel did get 1 kill in there, but that's really all about it. 2 shots of damage, more or less, so nothing too crazy.
I think what we really need to be looking at is throughout these battles so far, it's been top tier showing us how to take tempo and aggression and to kind of lead the way, to force your opponent to do things. And we've been seeing 07 attempt to deal with that. You see that they're going for it, but that because they're having to react, it's that much harder to react effectively, and they're not quite making it in that sense. The focus fire is there from top tier, the small skirmish kind of mechanics and kind of rules are being followed more closely by top tier. They seem to kind of understand their play style and what they're going for and how to kind of really fill that out. 07, I'm getting a bit of an identity kind of crisis deal from them. It seems like they have some ideas of what they want to do, but I don't feel like everyone else is practiced maybe or trained for it. Something's missing for 07.
We'll get to that in a second after we go over the lineups here. Top tier coming in with 250Bs, an IS-7, 2 mice, 5A, and a bat chat. 07 on their hand, a 50B, an IS-4, a Type 5, 2 5As, an E3, and an E4. Now, what I wonder maybe part of it is, there is that divide in the team between English and non-English speakers.
That was mentioned. Metahawk did bring that up.
The players playing from Russia and Ukraine.
Yes.
You have to wonder if maybe part of it is they're used to a different meta, different style, playing both in Europe and the RU League, and they have different ideas about how things are supposed to be done, and then the rest of the players on 07 are very used to the NA meta, which does have subtle differences. So maybe when they're trying to figure out strats, they don't quite see the things the same way, and when the callers try to explain it, they hear the literal translation, but they don't quite understand the whole philosophy as you were.
Yeah, that's the language barrier right there. We'll have to see. As right now, it is an aggressive 07 opening. We can see Fosta destroying all of the fence posts. This is a great way of preventing your heat shells from disappearing into
they have all the
abyss.
Chinese heavies, which deal with that, so definitely good to take those down, and the IS-4 as well.
Nice shot from Fosta on the open into the side of Rude Awakening. Some free damage right there. It's everything 07 really is trying to look for.
And Warbender gets a nice shot into Muriel. FC Dynamo coming down the south, trying to find shots through the train cars on Muriel as well.
Very tricky right there. There's only a few choice angles that can be counted on to do anything. And actually right now, top tier is just gonna chill out. It seems. Take their defensive positions, not do a whole lot else.
07 just choosing to hold their ground right now. Andy Pounds in that IS-4 is over on the A6 corner, just looking down, trying to get some early spots. He's a little bit exposed in that position, but he should be able to back up in plenty of time.
Should be. Now, top tier, where will you go? And to answer that question, Rox, how do you feel about going to a listen-in with top tier?
Let's do it.
Let's go to a listen-in with top tier.
Moss is gonna be like back here, just controlling, covering you.
Go
Okay.
up the A line or
So Moss,
zero line?
just get to like here, unless there's an E3 here, D3. There might be an E3 there.
Up
Okay.
the hill or
Just down the 8. Just down the 8 is fine.
You want me to get spotted right now, Rude, or just?
Yeah, try to get spotted. See what's going on there. Yep, the E3 is there. Miro, go on the inside. Go on the inside. Go on the inside. Oh, he fired? Go, Miro, go. He fired.
Oh, well.
Yep.
We still have like 5 seconds.
I'll make it.
50 Bs. Set a trap, 50 Bs.
I got a
all that trap here, okay?
I got lit though.
Yeah, I'm watching live. You guys can drive out and shoot.
Like, set a trap so if they move their 50B in or something, you get.
They're moving the 5A up. I'm gonna reload.
You want me to try to get a little cap pressure or just?
Did they let you exits?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get
like
Miro.
pulling back now though.
All right, let's get this Moss moved up. Let's get the 50Bs moved up. See if we could pick somebody really quick.
We can't go with the mouse. We can push it with the mouse if he goes in first.
Or the 50Bs. Just watch the 3 line. I'm gonna go on the inside of the courtyard here.
I didn't get the
Miro,
cross.
you might want to just get out actually, honestly. Or just sit there.
So if I leave this way, I get hit by the E4. If I leave this way.
I got lit right here.
Yeah, he's spotting you from right there.
I can try to bait out E3 shot, Miro, if you want.
Hold on, don't bait out the E3 shot yet.
I think we just need to go K-line Delta.
No, I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna start shooting this. Okay, see if you can bait out that E3 shot.
We need to focus together, Delph, okay? 3, 2, 1, no.
Did the E3 fire?
Fired it. No, not yet.
Oh, I didn't know you're poking wide.
He fired.
Permit.
I'm reloading.
50Bs coming in.
I got him.
Alright, nice.
We can kill the 50.
I'm loading.
Yeah, let our 50Bs reload, guys. Let our 50Bs
I'm gonna start
reload.
side
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. We have 5.5 minutes.
Lock compressor.
Mill, you're gonna help the 50Bs, okay?
50Bs is poking.
Our mouse could just like YOLO in.
Yeah, Moss
take all the hits.
E3. Moss move towards E3. Oh shit.
And then the 50
Oh, the fire.
Oh, we get across with Hako. That's all there takes.
Yeah, Hako.
Can you just like YOLO in Lop and beat all the hits?
No, you guys might die.
No, Lop
fired,
goes in and
E4
takes
fired,
the hits
E4 just fired.
and we cross.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that works. Let's get this Jojo. Let's get Jojo in closer.
Bob, go.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm a mouse. I don't move that fast.
You need to go out wide so they all shoot you, not us.
I mean, they all have shots at me. They're saving their
guys,
shots.
no, we can't. If you guys go there, we're
Yes, we can.
They're all saving their shots. They're not shooting.
They're all saving their shots.
Okay, now E3 fired.
Go. Delph, go. Kill him.
Wheezy fired.
Oh, E4 fired.
E4 just fired.
Want me to cross it?
I got him.
You got him? Okay, nice.
E3's one shot.
I'll just hold here. It's GG.
Reloading.
Okay.
Type 5 fired.
Moss has flanks. Moss has full HP.
Oh my god.
Go ahead, Moss. Moss is moving in, guys. Moss,
wait 20
Moss,
seconds
kill that
off.
E3. Moss, kill that E3.
You're like full HP, you should just go on.
I got 15 seconds.
Use your HP.
Yeah, I can't really.
I'm loaded in 7. I can clip the E4 out.
Careful.
I can kill E3 if he stays there. No.
E4 fired.
Oh, I missed.
Yeah, nice. Get the E3. Nice. Alright. Keep moving up. These guys are all punched up.
I'm forcing.
Fuck, tell me when the ice fires.
Jojo, go in.
Take a hit from
Jojo, go in, take a hit. Jojo, go in, take a hit.
Type 5 fired.
Okay.
This one?
Yep, Mill, you can YOLO.
I'm clipping. I got my clipping on the ice 4.
Kill the type 5. Kill the type 4. No, ice 4.
I got it. I'll be loaded when I get there. I can clip out the E4.
What are they doing? This is embarrassing.
E4's tracked.
I got him. I bounced. Don't block left.
Yeah, I'm moving left.
I got the E4.
What is happening?
I got the IS.
What is happening?
I bounced.
What is happening?
All right, that was Rude Awakening calling right there. I'm really glad actually it went that way, because he is by far the most comprehensive battle caller I've ever heard in tanks. Like, he is just super clear most of the time.
Yep.
Like, and even that one was chaotic and crazy. You saw him taking suggestions from the team based on what they thought was appropriate. He gave him a little bit more room than a lot of people would, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah, my nickname for him ever since the first season finals he showed up was the professor. He shows up, he has a bunch of kids around him.
Yeah.
You know, Top Tier is a fairly young team. And so, you know, their players, I remember one moment, they were all sitting in the hotel lobby, you know, basketball shorts and T-shirts and whatnot. They're here in California.
Oh, yeah.
And then Rude shows up just wearing, you know, sports jacket, has his luggage in, just looks like he's, you know, like some business guy professor, like look clean.
Good.
And just, you know, and just the way he paints that picture of what he wants his team to do. I want this to happen. It's very clear. There is no second guessing it. There is no, well, maybe he meant this or this. It's just, he tells you exactly what he wants to happen, and he relies on his players to go out there and do it.
And they did. This one, as an example, though, was a little messy. It was kind of funny at the end when everyone was like, what is happening? Why is this not done already? Why have we not won this, guys? Go and kill them. Because everyone was just kind of playing those individual games. They got caught up in the fact that they didn't want to die.
Yep, and Kolsoid putting up 65 fantasy points, 3k damage on the losing team. Feels bad, man.
Feels bad.
Delph putting up 2,800, 4 kills, 82 fantasy points. Mariel, 2,600, 64 fantasy points. Lebtev in the mouse, 2,500, 32 fantasy points, not getting any kills. Jojo dropping off a little bit. He was the top fantasy point scorer for the team so far this season. I think that'll be passed pretty soon, especially with Delph and Mariel playing like they are playing tonight. On the second page here, most of 07. Nothing too noticeable on the second page. FC Dynamo in that 50B getting caught out fairly early on, only able to get 2 shots off down on that 0 line, or 1 line, excuse me.
Yes.
So nothing too surprising. And now we're going to be heading into Mines as what could be our last map.
All right, so looking at the lineups, IS-7, 2 Mouse, 5A, 2 Bat Chats, and a TVP. So relatively mixed lineup for top tier, but a little on the heavy side. And then 07, bringing what is starting to look like the typical lineup for the defensive side on Mines. This is going to look a lot like what you've already seen happen on Mines for the past 3 match days.
Yeah, but what'll be different is top tier and how they go about it. I'm actually really intrigued to see what Rude Awakening has to try to crack this defense. Top tier, nice 7, a mouse, 2 mice, 5A, 2 bat chats, and a TVP. 07 on the other hand, a mouse, 5A, a PZ7, 2 E4s, a bat chat, and a T100. Now T100 is going out towards the 1 line early on. Warbander in that PZ7 is going to go to the same rock that we always see tanks at. Delph going towards the hill. Rude trying to open up shots here. Muriel hasn't spotted anyone, so I don't think that Rude will get any early shots off, though he is waiting for it.
I like Muriel whipping around a little bit, seeing if he can get some spotting. He is in a forward position, and Lop, Rude, and Oghako are not going to be able to get any shots at anything. All right, so
now Fosta does knock down the tree. He's going to poke around.
But I don't think anyone was looking. I don't think Muriel was watching at that moment. He was paying attention to his driving. Oh, he does notice that tree. He notices it this time. So top tier knows what's going on. Seeing shots go out towards that position. Foster knows how to play his Southwest Scout fairly well. He's done this literally for the past, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years.
And notice he keeps pushing his tank up along that little burn there and sticking just to getting his gun barrel over the top there, which is where the first point of spotting is from. It's from the end of that gun barrel. So able to do that and spot that 1 line and see if they're coming ahead of time. And now he does get spotted out in the open, but no one's... Oh, actually, it's Muriel spotted. Foster never got lit.
No, Foster got lit. Foster's lit. Just might be a networking error that it didn't show up as lit. But Muriel saw him. And they're just going to chill out. They're just going to do their thing. West side, this is a little slower than we're used to.
Yeah, well, and we've seen a lot of teams trying to crack this defense by going for that 8-9 line. They seem to think that pushing that 8-9 line is the magical answer. But top tier trying something different and going towards this 1 line. Muriel, Leptev, and Jojo Jackie stacked up here on the 1 line with a mouse, a 5A, and a bat chat. Now the mouse over on the 1 line is something we're actually not too unfamiliar with, really. We've seen it brought a couple of times, both first the grand finals by Tornado Rocks, and then we've seen some of the NA teams do it recently. There's certain pathing you can take in that mouse to get up across against that H3 spot with only taking a shot or 2 at damage. And once you have a tank in there, you can kind of back off all the angles that have the reset shots on that 2 cap. So it can be a very strong position if you can do it, as Muriel does take a shot of damage from Foster.
Nice shot. That was Foster just backing up, letting it go. A little free damage. And top tier, what are you going to do? Here's the problem. Oh, Delph, where are you taking damage and why? Oh,
on the hill, I think he poked out a little bit too much, and the E4 snapped the shot off into his turret.
It looked, the way he's driving, it looked more like he fell off the hill. But I'm.
Oh, did he do the climb?
He might have
climb on the back and do it wrong.
Maybe so. Or sometimes you just get a little too much speed and you lose control while sliding down.
Yeah, at D5, you have to be very delicate with it, because if you hit it too fast, you do kind of get off the ground a little bit, and it's a very long drop, and if you hit it at the wrong angle, you can lose a lot of HP unnecessarily.
Yeah. Well, I missed out on what happened, so rip. We'll see. Delph is on his way back to the hill. Lop is spotted in his mouse. That's huge, actually. That tells 07. Oh, sorry. On screen is there's Lop in the mouse. He's actually going to take damage. Because of that, Delth sees an opening. This is true. You recognize your friends are taking fire. Sometimes it's worth the risk to just cross an opening because someone who was probably watching your lane is while doing that.
So he went to all that effort to leave the hill, and then
he's
back up on the hill.
Oh, here we go, guys. We get to see this every few match days, but across the open, here comes the mouse.
However,
Forward.
he is being punished very heavily from this. The E4 already got shot into him. That PZ7 got one.
Everyone else is going to be pushing along with this, though. And what you're going to be seeing in a moment is Colosoid, 497 there. First bit of damage is dealt as Lop is now moving across the open. That'll take focus away from him, and Lop will now be able to get into more forward position. Jojo Jackie, though, needs to avoid going down if he can. We want to keep as many guns alive as possible so that this can just work. Because this is the difficult part of the fight. You need to not shirk away from taking the damage you're going to take one way or another. This is going to hurt. What's going to be important now is top tier effectively dealing damage and not taking enough in return.
It's kind of like getting a shot or giving blood. You know it's coming. You know that needle's going to prick you. You just need to just suck it up and take it. The more you flinch, the worse it can get. And in this case, they're just bleeding so much HP, and they're struggling to gain the positions that they want, hesitating a little bit. And when you do that, when you second guess yourself, you slow down, you bleed more damage and or just die.
And there's Rude showing, leading by example. He peeks out, goes for the shot, and takes 3 shells, 609 damage total to his front. That attack didn't work, guys. Not this time. Wasted too much health, just too many tanks took too much damage. 07 was on point with the shots they put out. That's what happens here, guys. Top tier took a risk, and it did not work out. 07, got to give him credit on that defense for being able to do this. Now, yes, it may not be quite over yet, but I don't see a reason why 07 shouldn't be able to pull off defense at this point. There's not a whole lot that should be able to happen. And, well, it's just a matter of time. Colosoid will go down. Okay. Just don't want to see too much passive 07 from now on. They just need to move out and get their kills.
Looks like at this point, top tier realizes it's over. They're just trying to take some time, figure out what they want to do on their
the thing
defense.
Is, with that kill we just saw in Colosoid, and now Fosta
Look
is
at that damage that he's done already.
How much?
3,000 damage.
Really? Ooh. Wow, impressive. And there, Warbender taking a lot of damage. He is nearly dead.
He's going to pick up a kill, too.
Yep.
Picks up left F. Double kill, so second kill of the game as well.
And Agwako, all right, now, guys, I can't even keep up with this. Andy Pan's moving up towards that hill with Arclet. And where will they find a target? Delth is out in the open. Looks like he's hunting for a shot. Andy's looking like he's going to try to line something up. Fires and misses. Arclet goes up, looking for shots as well. Starts taking damage. Little crossfire there. Don't waste this, guys.
So on the season, Lions has a 77 defensive win rate right now. I kind of want to know which was the team that has won on offense so far. Because it's only got to be 1 or 2 teams throughout all the times we've seen Mines in the first opening 3 match days.
Most of the time, if you lose on Mines, it's your own fault.
Mines defense.
In general. But yeah, mostly.
Another tank's going to go down, and this is going to bring it back 4-1. So not a complete shutout for 07, but they have a long road to go. Their only option to get points is to win 3 more to try to force overtime. At least that way they get 1 point out of it, if not winning OT. But the whole 3 points is no longer an option for them.
Blam. FC Dynamo showing us why he's the best. Delth gets 1 kill. But he can't deal 5,268 damage in 2 minutes. Not possible.
So the teams that have won on Mines offense so far, Elevate, Eclipse, and F7. The only teams to win on offense so far this season on Mines.
Oh my.
And the hero jump.
All right, 07's going to put 1 on the board. Nicely done. So
that defense is a tough nut to crack.
And the way top tier went about with the attack was timid.
I hate it. I talk bad about it all the time and how much I hate passive defenses, but it just works so well.
Look, it's tried and true, and it's been the same. It's just about been the same layout for the past. How many years has it been? I'm losing track of, like, I don't want to estimate not enough time because it's been
I remember
5-6
watching
years.
the last season of 742, so that would have been
It was a
4
strat
years
before.
ago.
It's a strat before 742.
Well, no, I know, but I remember specifically watching I think it was Navi versus, I want to say Unity, or maybe Mind Games back in the Russian League, where even though it was 742, Navi ended up breaking out the Lorraine Arty because they just had to try to break that defense on the south end, and they were trying everything to do it, and they just couldn't. Now, the map did get opened up a bit with that zero-line boost, but with the recent changes, it's gone back to being a very defensively sided map.
The zero-line boost didn't change enough effectively to actually open up new lanes of attack. All it did was add kind of like a strange spotting option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could go and do stuff.
Well, the zero line, what it did is it just made it so they had to break turrets. And look at all these fantasy points. Dealt 4K damage on the losing team. 2 kills, 113 fantasy points. I mean, I said it earlier, but that is really, it feels bad, man.
No.
Looking at FC Dynamo, 3,600, 3 kills, 67 fantasy points. Fosta, 3K, 2 kills. 128 fantasy points, not bad there. We were criticizing his play a little bit earlier, putting some questions about it, but that is impressive.
And
Paco, 24, kind of drops off after that. Second page, as usual, nothing too out of the ordinary. A lot of players from top tier really struggling to get some damage off, but the way that round went, it's not too surprising. They just paid such a toll on that opening push that bled a lot of HP, couldn't really do anything.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem I saw as well. Just a lot of shots not really connecting, or just altogether top tier not having the targets they needed to. But that one I feel like is pretty easy to write off as well. Yes, of course they lost. But now we're going to switch sides, and top tier is going to have their chance to defend on mines. If they win this one, they take it all away. If they lose here, then we move on to Ghost Town, where then 07 has to win 2 in a row on Ghost Town to take this to a tiebreaker.
Yep, and well, right now, for that to be a thing, 07 have to do something only 3 other teams have done in the league. 3 out of 8 teams have won on offense. So obviously some of these teams still struggling to figure it out. And
I don't think that top tier's going to let this go on defense. I don't know how you could. Everyone in the league has the same strat for defense. Everyone has the same lineup. It's not exactly the same tanks, but the same general positions. There's no huge innovation even possible. Like this, to stress how much of how the odds are against 07 right now.
Yeah, now
they're stacked.
Now, something to think about. We were kind of talking earlier on Himmelsdorf, for example. Teal Team 6 went for that push across the A line and went in there because the meta had shifted away from that older strat. Everyone had gotten used to certain defenses being certain ways and things not being a thing. If this trend keeps up, it should open up different lanes for the defense, different options, because they can start to rely on their opponent doing certain things, trying to break this defense. And if they change it up just right, they can start to catch people out. So even though the standard defense is strong, maybe we'll start seeing people kind of change the meta a little bit, or counter, do a hard meta counter, essentially.
The problem with mines over the history is that there have been hard meta counters, meaning hard counters to the strategies that are currently deployed, or strategies made in light of only everything that is currently relevant as far as what people go for. But if you are a caller or a player or a person on either of these teams who's been around for the past few years, more than 3, you're familiar with the fact that there's so many different options for an attacker that have been used, and so many of them have such a low success chance that really anything can happen. They could do anything, and it doesn't matter, because all it's going to turn into is engagement on the crossfire, and you just follow the same basic principles of the defense here, and you should win. As long as you follow those principles of it, of adjusting to account for where they're attacking and to just crossfire and outdamage your opponent, if you do that, you're fine. If you don't, it doesn't matter what they did, you're going to lose.
Yep, and now the lineup's coming in here. They're just going to take the hill with these 2 Batchets for 07, also coming in with a TVP, 3 5As and a mouse. Top tier, 2 mice, an i7, 2 E4s, Batchet, and a T100.
No spotting yet. 07 doesn't know a thing. They don't know where a single tank is. And they're looking for a jump, but it doesn't look like there's going to be one. Colossoid's going to back off. And Andy Penn's, Mako's, looks like Orklit are all going for something possibly low ground.
Now, we saw this the other day where 07 tried to turn one of their mice sideways on cap, shove a tank behind it, and start the cap pressure from that way. However, it didn't work. And it looks like they're already setting up, trying to do something similar. Arclit down here in the low ground with the mouse. Mako's pushing out wide. Now, what he doesn't know is Muriel is extremely aggressive on that one line, and the Batshot at Delth rotated out already, and so they don't know that Makos is here, so if Muriel's not careful, he could get caught out of position pretty easily.
That he could. And yeah, Muriel's going to scout out a little bit. He's quite active on the west side. We'll see if he sees anything in a moment, but it looks like there's going to be some movement from 07 on the water side, and they're barely going to be able to avoid getting spotted by him. And there we go. First spots coming up right now is Muriel. Spots Arclit moving towards the cap. That's the big tell. Top tier now knows what exactly is going on.
All right, while this attack happens, let's go ahead and listen to 07's comms and see how they want this to play out.
Nice shots.
That's actually huge because it limits his ability to poke and reset. Yeah, you can go a little steeper. You can go a little steeper. Yeah, there you go. And keep looking at the mouse. Don't go further up. Don't go further up. You want to back up more.
No,
you want to back up more. No, if you back up more, it gives me more cover.
Here we go.
Let's go. Kill the S7. Kill the S7.
Kill S7.
That's good, Arclit.
Make sure they can't push out without bleeding. Stay safe from Zid. Stay safe from Zid.
I think 10 shot.
Fucking missed the T100.
Loading.
Get your reloads. Get your reloads. They can't push with the mouse. They have to push on 2 cap now. Make us just control.
And really, they have the T100.
That rock.
In the mouse.
Something else is shooting me from there.
They have 2 tanks.
It's a Batshot. Batshot is shooting me.
Alright. Foster, are you still safe? Are you still safe?
I'm safe, sort of, yeah. Makos, you gotta come down further.
Let's get bats out here. Let's get at least one bat out.
I need some spot with you on their T100, Makos.
They have to push out around. They have to push out around. They're not gonna make this play again through the middle, so we need tanks out here right now.
E4 is still here. You see I spotted E4.
We need one medium to cover this because Batshot might gonna cross. Батчат, скорее всего, попробует переехать по линии.
So should I just hold the top of the rock for the T100?
Just aim. They have to roll around. They have to roll around.
Me with the mouse.
Are they going to be able to get that consistently without bleeding?
Foster, don't peek, there is a four.
Нихи 4 там дальше стоит. Аккуратно.
I got lit.
I think it's totally possible to cross one tank to kill T100.
They still have the C4 is might look.
We need to bait a shot out like with Foster somehow before we do that. Or send 2
shot. Yeah.
Send the other bat. Send the other bat. We'll make this with 2 bats, okay? Go.
2 бата, кольцо, поедь, короче, к...
Can I bait?
No, wait.
No, not yet.
We have 6 minutes. Don't take damage, Foster. We have 6 minutes. Good. You hit good.
Mouse. Okay, nice.
6 minutes is a long time. Colosoid, make this push with FC.
Едьте 2. Ну, сейчас, короче, задача в том, чтобы этот Е4 выстрелить, после этого они это самое.
Guys, we're trading HE for pens. This is good. Wait for Colosoid.
This mouse can push up the hill, I guess.
I'm watching that.
Okay, sure, dude.
You won't stop it, though. I mean, you can hit it, but...
We'll do 2K on it for 1 shot on Moorbander. And they don't know our bats are gone yet.
I haven't spotted him. Oh, he's here, okay.
Два бата пушим или Валик с нами?
Сейчас, подожди, они должны...
Зеха принимает удар от Е4, и вы едете. Окей,
Надо чтобы здесь осталось, типа, тут...
Wizzy
has to stay.
Готовьте, едьте. Take a shot, Foster, take a shot, they're going.
All right, now we know what the plan is here for 07. Let's see if they can make it work. The Batchats are going to push. They're trying to bait the shots to the WZ. Some big shots going out. Dynamo gets hit hard, but Colsoid should get across just fine. Muriel is a 1-shot, and they need to pick him up. They do spot him, but FC Dynamo can't be the one that peeks around.
Muriel, they were facing the same way, and Muriel is able to get out safely just enough.
And Warbander from the hill picks up the angle. And this is going to leave 07 in a decent position. It's not great, but it's better than we've seen out of most offenses on this map so far, as Leptev is the next one being focused out. He's in a vulnerable spot, bouncing some of the heat shells from the Bat Chats.
FC Dynamo with this last shell gets the kill. And same with Colosoid, both are out of ammo on reload. Doesn't look like Top Tier is going to be able to aggress back onto this and make anything of that reload time, that vulnerability.
22 seconds on the cap. Top Tier need to find a reset before they can worry about anything else. Even with the Bat Chats reloading in the south, they're not in position to do this. It's all down to Rude Awakening and Delph to try to find the reset angle.
Doesn't look like
8
much
seconds,
is gonna happen.
maybe an HE shell coming out here at the last second. 3 seconds, Exit's going over trying to find the lights, but it's not going to happen. That is going to be a cap out for 07, pulling out an unlikely victory.
And there we go. In game, we have to wait for that timer. 59 seconds on it, and then we come out of game. There's always the chance. There's always a chance that something can extend that. And there we go. Nice. 07 picking up another kill.
07 breaking out all the stops.
Yeah, that kind of strategy really says that you're willing to take a huge risk, because once dedicated to the west side cap as the attacker, you are pretty much stuck there.
Yeah, you're not leaving.
Yeah,
you're not leaving.
If you're leaving, it's because you really messed up, like bad.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really abandon it once you put the mouse on cap, in my opinion. There's 2 points of no return: the mouse on cap or pushing anything past that G1 gap. The second something goes down into the south, you're there. Yeah. It is this works.
Or
it really is what it comes down to. And FC Dynamo took one big shot from the E4, but that was really about it. He got across, both of them got across unscathed. And the other thing, a little subtle thing we didn't talk about in game, but the positioning of the mediums on the hill was such that they were not being proxlet. So it made Top Tier want to second guess things, and Rude took the gamble of, I think they've given up the hill. We can take the hill, and he had Akako take it. And then 07 just went, surprise, we were just sitting at spots where you couldn't find us because they didn't have the zero line climb. They couldn't spot the hill from the zero line, and they couldn't spot it from right next to the hill. So all of a sudden you have 3 tanks there, and that's Akako getting caught out. The second that was done, this was in favor of 07, and look at all the damage done in here. FC Dynamo 2,762 fantasy points, which really isn't bad considering that was a cap out at the end of the day.
This is true. Not bad at all. And with that, look, Lop putting up 2K along with Rude. Look at how top heavy the damage is for Top Tier. 3 of the members getting the vast majority of that damage, and then you go look at the second page of the post-battle stats, you see Zitzmariel and Ahako way down at the bottom. 3 tanks that just didn't get to
And poor Ahako just trying to take the hill. They thought they had the hill for free, and surprise, nope.
Lots of nope. Lots and lots of nope. Well, we are about to see what's going to happen as we move on to Ghost Town, where this is the chance for Top Tier to close it out. 1 win will finish the match for them. 07 must continue to win in order to make anything happen. But looking at the tank lineups, Rocks, what do you think?
Top Tier, 113, 250Bs, 2 mice, a 5A, and a Bat Chat on defense. Says flex defense, probably a 1-2 line play would be my guess. Meanwhile, 07, 2 mice, T57, 3 5As, and a Bat Chat on offense. All those 5As, the 57 says some sort of play on the 1 cap, most likely. T57 is working the DA corner. Mice just plugging in the gap and putting 5As on cap. But we'll have to see what they end up doing. And looks like my prediction about the 1-2 line delay from Top Tier is already wrong. However, 07 also opting to go for that north cap for sure. Colsoid making the open scout run in the south. That's about it. And Jojo Jackie hasn't left spawn, so maybe a DC call here?
Yeah, it looks like a DC call, and Joe Jackie doesn't look like he was able to load into the game, so we're just going to back on out of this one. Maybe? Yeah, looks like we're going to call it DC and back on out. Joe Jackie does get back in, so we'll be able to just get this one rolling in just a second. So they'll take the same lineups, same players, same everything. And it, yep, does look like everyone decided to leave. So we'll be getting that one figured out in just a moment. Once that's done, we'll be back into battle and we'll be able to go forward. So I want to hear your thoughts on that opener then. So what were your thoughts initially looking at the battle, looking at the way everyone's moving? What was...
Rude and top tier have a more flexible lineup for defense, not as heavy as we've seen out of some teams like Elevate. So they're relying more on map coverage and flexing around to really box the other team in, is the way it speaks to me.
Okay.
And then the opening lineup there out of 07 seems a bit, I don't want to say one-dimensional, because they could go for that south cap, but more often than not with that sort of lineup, it kind of speaks to me like it's going to be some sort of north pressure, whether it's 3 on cap and then try to catch them out when they push in, because you have the 2 mice to watch that middle diagonal. I think that's about C6, C7 diagonal courtyard right there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
and
about.
And then they have the 57 to cover them, and those 2 mice can really block that lane pretty effectively, so they can stop that angle. And then you have 3 5As on cap and the bat shot out on the 0 line. It's kind of cookie cutter, but it's pretty strong typically if you execute it right.
So that's pretty much what it is. Just a pretty cookie cutter strat, nothing too special you're expecting, and just it's going to come down to those that individual play and whether or not one team flexes a little bit faster or more effectively than the other. We know those 7's having trouble right now with the language barrier, having to have English speakers and Russian speakers who don't necessarily cross over on the same team. Because of that, we can expect 07 to have a slightly slower reaction at times when we'll have English players trying to tell Russian players that I need them to flex here or there and the other way around. And that's causing problems for 07. I think that'll cause problems here. I think top tier is looking quite good to take a brawl, take a surprise attack, and probably come out ahead. But 07 could get by on some of their cheeky strats, as you'd like to call them.
Yeah, what I would like to see a little bit more often than not on this map is it just seems like a lot of teams decide, all right, this is the cap we're going for. We're going to sit here, we're going to force the cap pressure and just make them come to us and hope this works, just the raw cap pressure. For a while, we saw something that they've kind of gone away from, which is baiting one cap, getting them to respawn, and then reappearing on another, bait and switch type strats.
Well, that hasn't actually had a history of working out that well. You know, it's not like that's a strategy that always seems to pay off. It really just seems to be everyone dancing around and just an excuse for both teams to kind of.
It's not so much that I expect the bait to work in terms of get the cap, but be able to move the other team around where you can do damage when they rotate. Very similar to, say, Himmelsdorf defense, for example. Make them move between the 2 caps, find the ways to get the damage in that process. Now, it hasn't always worked a whole lot, but most offenses on this map really haven't. So now it's a little bit easier to attack on this map than Mines. As I say, that is 07 pick up the last win on attack on Mines. But, you know, it's possible. But on here, I feel like this is still pretty defensively sided. And I think that there are several ways you could go about the offense that you could make it work a little bit, that are a little bit more fluid than these one-dimensional strats that we've been seeing out of these teams.
I do tend to agree that the fluidity is what you want. Be like water.
Yeah, exactly. You know, kind of flex around your opponent, put them into spots where you want them, and shape to them. And I feel we just don't see that enough, at least in NA.
Yeah, it's a hard skill to cultivate, and it generally once achieved, it's very actually hard to see it happen because it doesn't appear as though there's any effort being utilized in order to gain position or do anything. It starts to just look like things are easy. And then you start getting teams like Elevate and Fulcrum and Eclipse coming out. Those guys know how to flow.
Exactly. And now we're into battle number 7 here. Remember, there are no lineup changes when a disconnect is called, so they're right back in. Everyone has littered in this time, it looks like, so it should be good.
JoJo's moving. You go, JoJo.
JoJo really stepped up when he was called upon from the bench so far this season, but tonight he's been struggling to shine a little bit.
It's okay. He's still a hero in all of our hearts. Gonna jump over to Muriel now. Muriel is taking an open scout run against Colasoid. They said, hey, how you doing? And decided maybe next time. While it does look like both teams are about to meet up and fight in West. Andy, why? Andy takes a lot of damage getting into his position. Same with Fosta. Fosta is getting focused out, 50 Bs on him. Shifting fire over to Arklet. And now you have a few tanks that are all peppered down a little bit on the #1 cap in the north. FC Dynamo, take a look at that T-57. He's going to move up. This is called screening the cap. Instead of being behind the cap, firing over it at opponents that peek out, move a little bit further forward. Try and make it really difficult for your opponent to get into the engagement they want to. especially when it's getting a little difficult. Now, Mouse, Warbender, and Makos, along with Coloslate, are going to be playing the south flank. They'll need to be pressuring top tier.
10 seconds on cap. They need to find a reset. Track comes out. They get one minor reset, but it's not the full one that they need. FC Dynamo trying to get off what damage he can in this T-57, but he's going to get focused out.
Forward is the best direction right now for top tier. They are surrounded. They need to recognize that it's forward, get your kills, and then you can focus on those tanks moving up behind you, but you do not want to get caught between them, because that's all guns on the same targets. Nicely played. Top tier's going to possibly lose Oghako, but in exchange, they will be picking up 3 tanks from 07.
And not losing much in return outside of maybe Oghako and that Mouse, but Coleswade is out, so it's just down to Makos to pick up that kill. And he does.
As he should. All right, Mouse Warbender is now all alone with no one here beside him. And he will be going down shortly. Delph starts unloading. Nicely done. Makos is next. And there we go. Top tier staying together, flowing like water, and taking control, dictating the pace. That's what we want to see. He said 8% before this match. Rude said 8% of a possible 100% of a quality performance. And this is what we got. This is way better than 8%. Rude's being modest.
Mines was shaky, to say the least, but the rest of the maps have seemed like they had a pretty good idea of what they wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one map that you need to work on. That's something that you can accomplish before next Tuesday.
And with the new map picking format, having a deep map pool is vitally important, because each team only gets one ban before a map is selected. That means you can only count on one map being banned out. You have to be able to play, the other 7. So if you have one consistent ban, you have to be able to play the other 7. As before, if you had 2 solid bans, you only had to have 6 in your map pool. So the extra map means you have to spend a little bit more time practicing, working on strats, and Mines is a tough nut to crack, but 07 definitely seemed to have, their number on that one.
Yeah, I have to give it to 07. We didn't want to underestimate them. I thought it would be kind of a 4-5 scoreline, where you would have top tier coming out ahead, but 07 at least, showing us something. And that's what I was waiting for to see, Rox, was to see something like Mines, a map where 07 really does know how to play one of the sides. But let's go ahead and actually take a moment and review this entire series. We had a beautiful start with top tier bringing a fun brawl to Proc, and then following that one up, we went over to Himmelsdorf, where top tier seemed to get frustrated at their own inability to win faster. And then finally onto Mines, where, well, top tier...
That sums up top tier on Mines.
Yep, right there. Picture worth 3,000 words.
I gotta say, I love this defense out of top tier. They understood what their opponent was going to do. They had them read every step of the way. 50B setting up for the early damage on the cross. They got a good almost 2,000 damage off on that cross. The way they flexed around, they responded. They took the overmatches. Looking at the damages here for the match, Colsoid and Makos doing what they could for 07. Pretty solid stuff there. Delth, Rude, Jojo, Laptev, and didn't catch the last name there.
That's okay,
Mariel. Damage.
Everyone else, Arca, Warbender, Dynamo, and Anti-Pans, everyone else was way too low on the damage.
Yeah, even Mariel doing 2K, not bad there. Looking at the total for the series, Delph, welcome back to the Gold League. 465 fantasy points on the night, 19,000 damage. Leptev, also a respectable 336. Colsoid has been a pretty consistent performer, 407, despite the language barriers, 320 fantasy points. Drops off Akako, 260. Not spectacular, but all right. Mariel, actually Mariel, for the amount of damage he did, look at that, 400 fantasy points right there, 1,100 damage, 7 kills, not bad at all.
Rounding up, I see.
Yeah, we had a few massive games early on, so even though he dropped off earlier, I think that the early couple of games, especially in Pro, really put him in a good position.
All right, that sounds like we actually have Rude Awakening ready for the interview, so we're going to be joined by the captain of top tier. Sir, welcome back and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of tough fights there. Yeah.
So we heard you say 8% at the beginning of this. You said you guys were about 8%. After those wins, what do you think now? Are you guys really at 8%?
Yeah, we're not there yet. 8%, 7% now maybe. Mines was just a little bit disorganized. Bad call on attack. Some bad decision making on defense. Also, our Himmels defense was just a mess. I don't know how we won that one. So
it was quite fun, at least. And then your attack. We actually listened to your comms for just about your entire attack of on Himmelsdorf, and that was phenomenal as always.
Okay.
Yeah, Rude, you're always, of course, incredibly clear and concise and easy to understand. It seemed like you guys were frustrated at something towards the end. Was that because you guys weren't winning fast enough?
No, on attack, it was weird because they kind of all moved into like one square.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was just like, at that point, it's almost an auto win. So it was just slow. Like, we executed it slowly, and the 1-2 line did a really good job. But at the end of the day, I think that it could have been much better. It could have been done much better.
That sounds like you, Rude. Every single time we hear you, anything that you guys do, you're always pushing them. It seems like your style, though, that no matter what your team does, you're never going to sit back and say, we've done well enough. It seems like you're always going to be pushing them to go to that next level. What is it?
Well, I just want the players to constantly improve on a daily basis. Like, today, we got a lot of players back, and, Delph played well, I think.
Yeah.
Loptev played pretty well. Exits played well, but, like, also, Exits kind of had to move in a lot of the times when he was like the aggressor a lot of the times. So maybe that's why his stats didn't show up in the category as much. But overall, like, comms were better. Like, we played better today, but it's not there yet. Not even close. Like,
we'll have to wait and see what you guys really have in store. Okay, I feel you.
So
I feel you, Rude.
The one last question I wanted to sneak in there. Me and Randall for a little bit talked about mines and kind of the meta and how it's evolving. Every team seems to have this cookie cutter defense on mines, yet everyone seems to kind of struggle breaking it. What's your kind of take on the defense? Do you think there are some weaknesses you guys can potentially exploit?
So, like, our defense or breaking a defense?
Just breaking the generic defense we see right now with the PZ7 at the rock, the E4s in the back, the Type 5 under the hill. It's pretty much the same defense we've seen night in and night out. Do you see some huge flaws in it?
I mean, obviously there's no huge flaws, otherwise it wouldn't be being played. But, like, there's flaws in it, but the thing is they're really hard to exploit, and the timing has to be, like, immaculate to really kind of exploit it. The way people really break the PZ7 camp is getting a 5A or 113 down the 1-2. Once you get the 113 or 5A down the 1-2 and there isn't a T100 harassing it, so basically you have to clear the 1-2, and then that strat falls apart real quick, real fast. The trick is getting guys there safely and recognizing that the best opportunity is not to go on the 1-2, or let's say you have really two options, either go on the east side on the 8-9 or go on the 1-2, but if the PZ7 is there and they have guys on the 1-2, then, and you think you can overmatch it and win it, then you go 1-2. But if you think that you can't, then you have to go 8-9 and keep people on the hill, basically.
All right, Rude, it's a pleasure talking to you as always. Any final thoughts for your fans out there?
Yeah, just watch out. Like, we're back, we're practicing, and hopefully we'll be performing a lot better than we have been in the last few weeks, including today.
All right. Well, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Rude.
Yep. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the standings as they sit right now with a whole match night complete. Elevate comfortably in first place, 3 points up, and have a round difference that can't be touched by anyone right now. Eclipse and Dare tied in second place, trying to fight over that second spot to get to the finals.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a familiar standings come back out. Dare tied for second. I think a round difference, right, again?
Yep, down round difference.
Yep.
And then after that, it's just 07 that haven't picked up any points. Top tier and Teal Team 6, both on 6. Aquatic M60s and F7, both on 3. And then 07, like I said, they're still on the path for that 0-7 start if they're not too careful.
Yeah, very, very dangerous. Now, moving on to Tuesday's matches, we're going to be looking at those. We've got Top Tier versus Eclipse and Aquatic M60s versus 07. Elevate will be taking on F7. And then we will also have Teal Team
6 versus Dare.
Yes.
So, but the broadcast matches, Top Tier versus Eclipse. Top Tier starting to look pretty good. Eclipse have really picked it up recently, so that should be a great match to watch. And then Aquatic M60s versus 07. I think these are, once again, that is another vital match for 07. Really need to pick up some points, but also M60s are only on 3 points, so both those matches are going to be really good to watch.
Yeah, it's a mission to get off the struggle bus for both of them, see if they can get on the highway to the danger zone.
Yeah, well, that about wraps it up, guys. So make sure you follow us on Twitter for any updates. Until next Tuesday, that is at WGLNA, and also check us out on Facebook. Why do I keep slaughtering Facebook today? I don't know what that is. So /WGLNA on there. Get the Wargaming pre-show. Also on twitch.tv/Wargaming. All that happening on the match days just before the matches. So make sure you guys tune in. And also Fantasy League.
Of course, go ahead. Head over to fantasytanks.com. Sign on up and join us. Compete to see if you can guess who the best it will be every single match day. You can win prizes like Type 59, tons and tons of gold, and the appreciation and adoration of all World of Tanks fantasy players.
All right, any final thoughts tonight before we wrap it up?
This was way more fun than I thought it would be tonight.
Yeah, no, it's a great set of matches. So that about does it for us, guys. See you Tuesday.